It was a silent night, yes, a holy night, until Mr. Claus turned into Santa motherfucking right.
Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. And have a fucked up New Year. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. And have a fucked up New Year.
Three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 126 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live. I am your host, Krampus Moodz. And of course, I've always got my two rare exports by my side. Double Shot J, also known as JP. And of course, we got NES Ruler 22, also known as Jeremy the Jew. What's going on, guys?
I'm sorry the show sucked so much last week because I wasn't there. I'm sorry. Sorry I had to sync the show, you know?
It actually was a pretty good show. And
yeah, that's what everybody says. It seems like every show I'm not here, like, fucking, everybody says, like, oh, that's such a good show, like Hatchet 3 show. All the motherfuckers are talking about that shit.
I think Hatchet 3 is one of our best shows we've ever done. Or not Hatchet 3, Hatchet Trilogy. Yeah. For real.
I think
that makes sense.
I think what was a little bit more surprising with the show was the fact that JP actually liked the Gene Roland films. All three of them. Yeah, he came in.
That's why I wanted Jeremy to be there to see what he would have thought.
You liked them?
Yeah, liked all three of them.
I think
he's good.
I even brought it up too. I said I wish that Jeremy was on the show because I wanted to hear his thoughts on these three. Because I even said that the one that you talked about wasn't exactly one of my favorite ones, but these three happen to be, three of the better ones. Mm-hmm. So it actually turned out it was pretty surprising in that aspect. So, but fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
They were very interesting. Like I think you would have actually had some things to say about them because they are pretty like art housey in a way, and three very different movies. Like we had a vampire film, a just straight up like art house like contained horror film, and then we had an infection film. And the infection one really surprised me because it was so early, in time period. Like you didn't see a ton of infection films like that. So yeah, it was really cool. I was super.
Who would have thought you like them?
I know. Yeah, I liked all three.
All those months of bitching about doing it, and then he ends up actually liking the films.
Oh, we were just joking around with you. You just
we were kind of.
But I mean, to be honest, I wasn't actually entirely sure if you were gonna end up liking them or not. I thought maybe they might be a little bit too art housey or whatnot, but
well, that's the thing though. Like a lot of people sometimes forget that I love art house movies. Like if you look at my top 10s from most years, usually like Neon Demon was my number 2 last year, which I know Jeremy's going to be reviewing tonight. It Follows. I wouldn't be surprised if my list this year had some art house on it too. I'm definitely not surprised. I know that it will.
Yeah, that's not going to surprise me. That's not going to surprise me if you have art house films on your list this year. Because there's definitely a couple that you've talked about that I think are potential top teners. So, yeah, that seems to be kind of like, in my opinion,
the year of art house.
Yeah, the year of art house. There's been a lot of kind of films that are really, kind of treading the waters of, are they horror, are they not? I know we've had this conversation before, but it keeps getting brought up. I talk to people and it's like, was there actually any horror films this year? Like straight up horror films?
Dude, I'm getting the lists are starting to come into the email. the lists are starting to come into the email, man, and I've heard now a podcast do there with I think 4 different top 10 lists.
Oh yeah.
Plus I've heard, a little bit of reference to some other people's lists, and I'm saying I think this might be the most diverse list year ever.
So and I brought that fact up, or that point, a couple weeks ago, didn't I? I said I think this year is going to have a lot of different types of top 10 lists, like more diverse than we've seen in the past years. I mean, there's always like maybe more than a handful of films that you always see on people's lists from the previous years, but I think this one has the potential to be so many different types. So that was Shockwaves that you listened to, and there was 4 different lists on there, and they were quite diverse and different.
Yeah, there were some films that kind of were across the board, stuff like It.
Yeah.
But there was actually like some weird ones. Honestly, a lot of their lists were really mainstream though on Shockwaves. Like really? I was actually a little surprised.
How much mainstream could you have though? I mean, there was a lot of mainstream, but it's like there wasn't like a ton.
I mean,
I would probably think films like It and Get Out. Those
Get Out, Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
What was the other ones that were showing up? Annabelle Creation.
Oh yeah.
There was a handful of like mainstream films that were showing up on their list. There was a handful of art house one, a few that I actually haven't even seen yet. So I'll probably get those in just in case. I know that apparently over on the Exploding Heads show, they had. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what they had, but apparently there was a pretty a kind of a shocker on one of their lists or something like that. So really excited to hear that show, which will be out before our show.
Hopefully it's not Bye Bye Man.
I can't imagine that it would be Bye Bye Man. I haven't seen Bye Bye Man on anybody's list yet. And
that's good. Yeah,
I mean, rightfully so. It's not a top 10 film. I just don't think it's a bottom 10 film either. But yeah, this is getting really exciting. And speaking of that, I would like everybody just to follow up here. Make sure you guys are sending us your top 10 list for the sort of tallied version of the top 10 list, the kind of like unanimous
to
type
the
top 10
email.
list.
To the email. Yeah. We want to keep it organized this year because I think in past years it's been sent on Facebook, a whole pile of different social media outlets, and shit either gets lost. It's just hard to fucking keep track of. So email.
Just this year, I don't have the time to go and find everything. But Jeremy, where can they send those to?
If you like, you could send the 22 shots of Moodz and Horror at gmail.com, and make sure you put in the subject line, please, Moodz, don't edit me out of the show. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, I did want to kind of just, so please send those because it's fun reading them too, and also it's something we've been doing every year, so, why stop now? But there was we got a couple of iTunes reviews the past couple weeks that we haven't had any in a long time, so I figured I would read those out like we used to, and we got 2 of them. One of them is from Don and Nelly.
I guaranteed one of these are going to say something dickish about me. So get in mind.
I will take that. I will take that bet. I will take that bet. So Don and Nelly says 5 stars. One of the best podcasts in the genre, despite the silly title, which shouldn't put you off at all. This is one of the finest and most enjoyable podcasts on the genre out there. The long-form 4 to 5 hour shows flow smoothly as segments and discussion from JP, Jeremy, and Moodz are engaging, hilarious, and well-researched. With tons of great content, plenty of laughs, and some engaging hosts, this deserves place among the feed of any type of horror fan. So thank you, Don and Ellie. We appreciate that. Former guest Don and Ellie gave us an iTunes review. Awesome. Yeah. And this one is from Bloody X Hands X. Fantastic. 5 stars. This was the interesting one.
Oh. I was going to say that's it.
No. This podcast is awesome. I stumbled onto Moodz' YouTube channel several months ago and heard him mention he did a podcast on one of his Shelf by Shelf videos. Since then, I've listened to every episode in order and subscribed to all 3 of their YouTube channels. Moodz is a great host and fountain of knowledge. JP is a fantastic podcaster and knows how to keep things moving. And despite how much crap he gets, Jeremy really knows his stuff and is the best YouTuber in my opinion.
Really?
Of the bunch.
I was just gonna say that. Like, I'm kind of like done with YouTube. You know, I literally have like no interest to do YouTube anymore. Like that's why I haven't posted a video in a month, because it's like I really don't care anymore.
The best YouTuber?
Yeah, out of us. Yeah, the best YouTuber of the bunch of us.
Well,
so we're chopped liver moods.
I guess
that's a little
Yeah,
bullshitty.
filet mignon Jeremy over here.
You should be in the Hall of Fuckers just because you're wrong.
That's so random.
They have an awesome community around them, but it's mostly based on Facebook. As someone who doesn't use Facebook, I wish they were more active outside of Facebook, like on Instagram and Twitter. But they are amazing at what they
Fuck this,
do
dude. I'm on Twitter.
and really know horror.
I'm the
Best
only
horror
one that uses
podcast
Twitter.
I've ever listened to. I'll be listening as long as they keep on doing them. Well, I mean, I think what he means is, Jeremy, you're not very active on Twitter. You just use it, as do I. I use Twitter. I'm not very active on it.
I look at it every day. I don't like post, but I'm like,
yeah,
I'm on it every day.
But Moodz, I know he's pretty active on Instagram, so I maybe check Moodz out on Instagram. I'm kind of.
What the fuck is Moodz posting on Instagram?
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, people actually.
Cock shots or what?
Well, of course.
Yeah,
a variety of cock shots. Yeah,
Jerry,
actually,
you're not
there's been
subscriber on there.
Honestly, there has been people that have told me that they found the show through the Instagram because they also do not use Facebook. So it has become a productive tool also.
Yeah, which is really good. I know we have a 22 Shots Instagram. Derek used to run it. I don't know what's going on with it, if it's still used at all. I'm kind of trying to get used to Instagram. I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like Twitter more. But I don't use Twitter that much either. But
See,
I'm
the
trying
thing with
to
why I didn't sign up for Instagram is like, I don't want to have to fucking build that shit too now. Like having people follow me on Instagram.
It's hard, right?
That's too much work. I mean, I think it would be cool for me because I like find shit out when I go looking for crap, and I think it'd be cool to post stuff on there like, oh, I found this. But it's like I don't want to have to go through fucking promoting that shit now.
I think you would actually do well on Instagram if you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at finding. I just think that like a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is not interesting, so I just never feel like posting on Instagram.
Yeah, I think Jeremy, if you sign up for Instagram, like you'd probably have a lot of followers right away. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, people from Facebook and stuff. A lot of people are over there using it too, and they'll immediately start following you and shit. So
I always post pictures and shit on the Facebook page,
and that's what I'm saying though. Like it's just about being active too, right? Like if you post something every day, you'll probably gain tons of followers. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, and honestly, like Twitter, that's one of my goals in 2018 is to kind of be more active on the 22 Shots Twitter. And also, I do want to say, like, the Facebook thing, like, if you're not on Facebook, I understand that, but at the same time, if you would just make it an account and then just join the group page, like, you would just have so much fun. You wouldn't have to do, like, much interaction outside of that. Like, everything's contained to the Facebook page, so to the group page, so, like, you wouldn't actually have to go outside of the that group page. You could just say that like only use Facebook for that, and you would have fun, and it wouldn't be that hard to do. So I do recommend, if you don't have Facebook, to maybe just do it for that. You don't even have to make your account your real name or whatever. Just don't make it something suspicious looking, because Jeremy will decline you from entering the group. Like
that's true. Like I did it a few times this week
or something. You know
I did it a few times this week. If you have some like Indian name or something and you like joined Facebook yesterday, I'm probably not going to let you in. So
I don't even look. I just hit accept to all.
We haven't had too much spam on there lately, actually. So
yeah, I know. I noticed that actually.
I haven't seen any Ray-Ban ads.
Yeah, but. For sure, though. I mean, like, there's all kinds of ways.
But then you get people like, oh, you guys should do a Carrie episode 4 times, and it's like, fuck you. I heard you the first time.
Well, we like, and I always just point them to the Patreon because I'm like, yeah, we like if you really want that, we can do it, you know. But you're gonna have to do it through the Patreon, because that was the whole point. Is we have so many goddamn requests all the time. I just was looking through my Facebook or my YouTube messages, which nobody uses anymore. I don't even know if they're still a thing, but the old ones, and I had tons of requests in there for the podcast. And it's just one of those things where, like, you know,
only do so many.
I only can do so many. And yeah, so definitely follow us on all of our different social medias like Facebook and
all right,
Instagram,
I'll try Instagram,
Twitter. Jeremy's gonna try Instagram. I think you'll have fun with it.
I always find it interesting when I find out people that don't have Facebook. I'm always curious because a lot of the time I usually don't give a shit. If somebody's not doing something or whatever. But I'm always curious why people don't have Facebook. I was actually talking to this guy a couple weeks ago about this, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to put myself out there. I've heard, the government takes your information." And but I use this. It basically his answer was like, super paranoia. He just doesn't want to put himself out there so they can follow him and shit like that. And I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's like literally crazy. Yeah. And he's like, that's why I've never signed up for,
if I haven't got arrested for saying stupid shit, I highly doubt you're going to get.
Yeah.
Mood, you used to get banned all the time. I was like, how are you getting banned? I post Hitler jokes and dick jokes and everything. I haven't gotten banned once.
I got banned for fucking a couple stupid things, but I also got reported by people within our group. Which even blows my mind, man. Like, yeah. I still think the craziest one, though, is the picture that I got removed and I got a 24-hour ban for posting pornography post or pictures or something, was a picture of, it's actually the insert picture on one of Prince's albums. And he's naked, but it's not like, you get to see anything explicit. And I actually got banned for that. I'm like, what the fuck? There's no nudity.
I remember, I posted a picture of that all aboard the choo-choo train, and it was a fucking Auschwitz picture, a year ago, and then a month ago, I got this photo was removed because of guidelines. It's I posted that shit a year ago.
That happened to me one time. I don't remember what the picture was, but it got removed, and it was I'm looking at the posting, and it was from a year and a half ago. It's like, what? But are people just not doing their jobs and they're going through backloads of stuff and we got to remove that picture? That's too crazy.
Dude, that Jupiter one from yesterday was fucking had me in stitches.
Yeah.
We should go to a gas planet and call it Jupiter.
One thing that I wanted to do here, guys, is we haven't done it yet. Is it my turn to give something away or yours, Jeremy?
I gave away.
I think it was Jeremy last time.
Yeah.
So you did it last time.
Yeah, I think I did it the last time.
You gave away the was it to James? It was the one that was really far shipped, right?
Yeah, James Cox to Finland. Not
okay.
Finland. Yeah, I did go to Finland.
Yeah. Okay, so I have this is my last Phantasm set to give away here. The DVD set. And I'm going to go ahead and shout out everybody who Patreon for us in November, which, the 1st of December is when it goes through. But this is for the December people who supported us on the 1st of the month. So if you want to get involved in these contests, all you have to do is at least give $2 or more, and you will be entered in the monthly giveaway. I have it at 2 right now, right? Oh, is it 3? Is it 3?
I thought it was 3. I may be retarded.
No, it's 2 because we have that $2 option, which allows people to ask us a question.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a stupid fucking perk.
Well, I mean,
I could just ask us questions if you email us at the 22shotsmoodsanhorror@gmail.com.
Yeah, but we're not guaranteed to answer it.
All right.
So yeah, we will. So if you support us for $2, or
it
more,
says $3. $3 contest.
Yeah,
entry.
but I'm allowing the people who do the $2 one to.
But nobody does the $2 one, so
maybe more people fucking do it if you would fucking let them have prizes. Damn it.
Yeah. Why the fuck not?
So why don't you just get rid of the contest entry thing? Because it's the $2 one gets it too. So it's what's the fucking point of having it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, as of right now, it doesn't matter because nobody's doing the $2 one. But yeah, so $3 plus or potentially $2, and you're entered. So that means that Derek. Bourgeois, whatever his name is, Bergie. I don't even know. These are one of our
Bergie the Fergie.
Sam Edwards, we got Matt Jonakowski, we have Michael Fisher, Mark Lethem, Fan of Eli, James Caux, Rob Hankins, Edgar Sanchez, Trin, Kill the Cast, which is Jerry.
Fucker.
Yep. Joey Plesh, Tony Arroyo, Dustin Baker, Andrew Schroyer, Andy Zavala, Glenn Beersford, TJ Franks, Marco Vertanen, Terry Rolfe, Blaine Bartlett, Amanda Wingenglinknick, W Doubles.
Oh, nailed it right there.
Michael Kemp, and Action Jack Man.
Jack Man.
I'm going to go ahead and hit the randomizer. So I have everybody in an order and random, and the winner is... Who is it? It is TJ Franks. TJ Franks. I don't know who that is. Do you guys know who that is?
Nope.
No, I don't know who TJ Hooker is. Franks?
He has been a Patreon for 2 months, and he won. So, boom. Awesome. He's under the $3 tier.
Congratulations, TJ
Thank
Hooker.
you, homie. That was a good investment because the Phantasm set is more than what you're.
And he's probably located
us.
in Australia now.
Please no.
Hey, then you'll have to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Fuck
2 months
shit, ago,
man.
I gave away a Phantasm set. Guess what? The person just got it like this week. So don't expect to get this anytime directly soon, especially with the post like it is now. In fact, I'm probably going to wait till the beginning of the year to even send it. But yeah, you want it. You'll get it eventually. I promise. I'm always good on my contest sending outing. But it just takes me a while because these guys know my post office is closed like nonstop, and I don't feel like going to other towns to ship shit out. But yeah, so you guys keep supporting, and we love you guys for it. And we don't know what our next goal is to do. Maybe some T-shirts or something like that. But We'll talk about that in 2018. And the final thing that I wanted to bring up in this little housekeeping segment here, Jeremy, we had a little thing that happened last week. So Derek was on, and one of his what we watched was the Juon the Grudge, and he came in on that at like a 9.5 or something, I think it was. All right. Mm-hmm. So he came in at like a 9.5, and if that would make the Hall of Fame if you include Brandon's 8.5 and Dave Z's 10 out of 10.
Get the fuck out of here.
The question that we have...
No, it's void. It's void, man.
No.
It has to be one. It has to have one of us hosts.
Well, why didn't you say that last week? You were like, we'll let the people decide.
No, well, I'm not letting the people decide.
Well, we're going to have a Hall of Fame that's going to be like Derek, Brandon, and Dave Z. Fuck those dudes.
Because I was actually thinking about this after the show, and I'm pretty fucking sure that we had this discussion. I don't know if it was on a show, if it was after or before or whatever, about this exact thing. And I'm pretty fucking sure that we came to the conclusion that that one of the original
must be involved.
Has to have one of the 3 ratings.
Yeah,
I'm positive. So that's why I was thinking about it. And
Agreed.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was a little weird about, is because Derek was on the show as like a regular for a little while. Like if it had happened when he was on the show as a regular, then maybe we would have allowed it. But because it happened when it's with us 3 hosts, I think probably not. Yeah, so I'm with that actually, because I don't think that it should be able to get into the Hall of Fame without at least one of the main people on the show also being a part of it. Because there are films that only one of us are part of, but there are no films where none of us are part of. And that was the only one that had a potential. So I just wanted to make sure that we're doing that, because Rob sent me the ratings today.
You motherfucker. You have aliens in the on the Hall of Fame, and it says JP, Moodz, Christian. What about me, you fucking dickhead?
Well, what was your rating?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Christian probably voted higher than you.
What kind of shit is that?
Well, if it didn't make it when it was me, you, and Moodz, and then Christian rated it higher, so it ended up making it.
It's fucking stupid.
Why?
I think that's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, it is. I remember it.
But I rated that movie. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to look at the Hall of Fame and see an entry in there that not one of us is on. That's just whack. That's bullshit.
I already look at the Hall of Fame and I get mad that Hostel's not there. So
maybe we didn't talk about it for 2 hours. Maybe me and Moodz wouldn't be so asleep.
Yeah, true. I did feel bad about that. Like, man, I just have too much information, but I didn't want to waste all the time.
I'm joking. It was amazing.
That sounded sarcastic, but okay.
Well, a little bit. Anyways, is that it for housekeeping?
Yeah,
no more notes?
that's it.
No more notes? All right. Well, I guess we might as well move this along, get into some news. Sure we got some of that.
Is this Christmas? Is this Christmas news?
This is Merry Ho Ho season.
Yeah, it's our Christmas show, guys. We didn't even mention that.
Fuck you guys.
Well, I kind of, I'm through in the Krampus and the Rare Exports thing. And
we don't do a Hanukkah show every year?
Yeah, can't we have like Hebrew Hammer in there one year or something?
No.
Hebrew Hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah, man.
Every time I think of this season with Jeremy, I think of the Jew on Christmas song from South Park.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
But it's like, why can we never have a Jewish horror movie? Why can't we do Big Bag Wolves? It comes from Israel. It's fucking Jewish enough.
Yeah, well, if they actually start making some... Well, hey, we don't pick these. That's another reason why.
I'm really surprised that there isn't, a straight-up Jewish slasher film.
Uh-huh.
Like, I just can't believe that film has never been made. It's crazy.
Yeah, fucking somebody makes a fucking...
If it was a Jewish person killing Christians on Christmas, would that be bad?
Let's do it.
That would be fucking awesome and totally politically correct.
Oh, dude, I was over in the horror cast group page recently, and the homie Walshy, he posted a post where Walshy.
Who the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, totally Walshy
from the horror cast.
Yeah, from the horror cast.
Yeah, he's in our group.
I'm antisocial, you know that.
Mm-hmm. But. Dude, we literally sent an audio clip in for him last year. You guys, Jesus.
I saw
But, yeah, he posted something along the lines of, like, how he, like, doesn't like Christmas horror at all.
Yeah.
Did you see that post?
Yeah, I did, man. And I was like,
okay.
I don't think I commented on it. But anyways, I was just shocked. It's very rare that
everybody in the comments was like, "Oh, you're crazy," and he was like, "Yes, I'm in the minority here."
So I don't remember. Did it say specifically he didn't like Christmas horror or just holiday horror in general?
Christmas, because he just it's probably stemming from some sort of religious nature or something like that. I would say, because it seemed like he was. It was like more that he just liked Christmas being good and really didn't see the point of making it like about killing and shit.
I didn't scan through the comments and stuff, but like, did he mention the films that he does not care for? So he's not a fan of Black Christmas or Silent Night,
like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and stuff like that. But he does like Krampus, I think.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! What his favorite part is the goddamn stupid ass gingerbread.
Probably.
Fuck that shit right there.
I don't know. Yeah, dude? Come on, Krampus is good.
The movie itself,
we both gave it a good rating.
Honestly,
but you turned around on it on the second viewing once you expected the gingerbread shit.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that second viewing does really help. It's not as shocking to see stupid
and
ass
knowing that
gingerbread.
It was there helped me with it as well. After hearing your review, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
It's fucking news time, guys, and news is super limited, like it normally is at this time of year. So first up, I guess this isn't like directly horror related, but definitely affects all of us. Disney has purchased 20th Century Fox.
for $52 billion.
So what does this entail? Like, what is exactly the end
Everything.
result?
It's pretty straightforward.
They own, like, Fox is owned by Disney.
Yep.
It won't take full effect till what, like
Not Fox, 20th Century Fox.
Yeah,
20th
20th. Okay, yeah, I understand. No, I'm talking about, like, you know how Disney's just really kind of shady with the releases and stuff. You know, they vault their fucking
so
releases.
Alien will be in the vault next to Mickey Mouse and Dumbo.
So that's what that's where I was going. I'm like, does that entail they're just not
I
going to
don't
release
think-
this shit, or they're just going to do it in small quantities, or are they just going to? Because
I don't know.
I
I think they'll keep it kind of separate entities for a while.
Yeah.
But I
It's
don't want
just
to
weird.
see like fucking Deadpool versus Mickey Mouse. I don't want to see that shit.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, the most like the most I guess what you would call mending of properties would be the Marvel and the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
The like Avengers and X-Men and stuff, which is cool because I like the X-Men are like my favorite.
That new horror movie looks dope.
Yeah, it does. It's like totally got tons of callbacks to like Elm Street 3. I guess the guy who made it is a huge fan of Elm Street 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see anything to do with that, Moods?
No,
it's called New Mutants. It's a goddamn horror film with the X-Men.
Yeah,
Straight up.
I haven't seen anything, but I've just been hearing the buzz about it, so which is pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. That's actually and I mean, one of the things that we're obviously going to do in the year-end show after we do our top 10s is we're going to do a preview for 2018. I can tell you right now that's something that I'm keeping a lookout for.
Hope it's R.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
It should be. But yeah, so they own 20th Century Fox. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting weirded out about Disney, or like it seems like I read
They own everything.
statistic
Yeah, they
that
pretty much own everything, man.
Yeah. I read a statistic about like something with them, and if like it had like the Fox still already been like through, and they like actually started owning it right now, like they would have had like 80% of the box office or something last week or something like that. I mean, Star Wars absolutely killed it. By the way,
220.
220
Opening weekend was 220. Oh my!
Yeah,
220 million.
I think I read that's the second highest opening
Yeah,
ever,
behind the last one.
behind the last Star Wars.
Yeah, behind episode.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if it beat the
7.
last one or not,
Holy
but I'm surprised it actually didn't beat the last one. That's crazy.
No, I think the hype for the last one was so much higher.
I thought
Yeah.
7 would have beat the last one though, right? You'd think 7 would have beat Rogue One.
It did.
Oh, so
7 was
then,
the highest grossing.
so it's not the last one then. The last one was Rogue One.
Yeah, but that's not part of the last one. I meant episode 7.
Yeah, I got what you meant.
Yeah, surprising that did. I mean, it makes sense that it didn't beat it because that was the first time Star Wars was returning. You know what I mean? Now there have been 2 movies since this one. You know, so I still haven't seen it. I know Jeremy's seen it. He said it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
But yeah, so I don't know, guys. Like, we'll see what's up with the Disney stuff as it goes. I don't know what I mean, I honestly, like, they're not dumb. Like, it seems like they put the right kind of budgets into their movies, and they don't like lose money. So like maybe Alien, because like
because Star Wars has to make 800 million to break even, and it's going to do that
easily.
Yeah.
What do you think about like what other properties that are horror does 20th Century Fox own? Like The Fly or something?
They definitely own The Fly. I don't really know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm sure
they're not like known as like a horror studio. Like when you think about it.
No,
right?
Not really.
Yeah, I really don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Like big ones? Yeah, I can't.
Like I only think of like Alien and The Fly. Predator?
Alien's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Predator.
Yeah,
Predator. Yeah.
And The Fly. Who knows? We'll see what they do. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it would be. I just don't want them to start picking up all the studios. You know what I mean? Like
Planet of the Apes.
Okay, Planet of the Apes. Like, imagine if they bought like Lionsgate or something. You know what I mean? It'd just be like, fuck. Like at what point? Like they can't own everything, right? Like that would be like
why not?
effed up.
It's probably what it's leaning towards right now. Probably going to end up buying out Lionsgate and. Oh my god, that's a terrible thought right there. That's a terrible thought.
Man, So, that's that news right there. After that, apparently Rob Lowe is directing and starring in a remake of The Bad Seed for the Lifetime Network.
Okay.
Was there already a remake of The Bad Seed?
I
don't know.
I think so. Okay, so I quickly read, someone posted that too, and it said a remake with Rob Lowe, The Bad Seed, but it's the gender reversal.
Yeah, I read that too.
I'm like,
Boy.
that's fucking stupid, man. That's so. That's what makes the original Bad Seed so cool, because it's a fucking girl who's psychotic. That's what makes it so like.
Are we just gonna have the Omen?
Yeah, I mean that it's expected from boys, you know. Like I'm like, oh, the big thing is, oh, it's a a reversal. I'm like, who fucking that's dumb.
So it's like The Good Son.
In a sense, yeah. I mean, it's a boy. I mean, we expect that. I mean, obviously, when it's a little girl, that's terrifying in itself. It's unexpected. It works a lot better for that. I don't know. I just didn't see that as a big selling point to me. When I read that, I was like, click off. I'm like, who cares? We've seen this a million times. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever. But, it has Rob Lowe, so that's pretty cool.
It's Lifetime.
It's Lifetime. But then again, I mean, we've said this before about Lifetime, and they've actually put out some pretty decent films in the last couple of years, so. Mm-hmm. Which is, obviously surprising in itself, but I don't know. Yeah.
After that, we have a documentary called Haunters, The Art of Scare is headed to Netflix. Apparently, this is
out already.
About where?
VOD.
Okay, so coming to Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I thought I heard people talk about that already.
Yeah.
But apparently it's probably something Jeremy would like. I think it's about like haunted houses or something.
Yeah, it's a documentary about haunted houses.
Yeah. All right. After that, there's apparently a Goosebumps sequel is being done, which I think we expected. I think the first one did pretty good. And Ari Sandel will be directing it. Comes out September 21st, 2018, as of right now.
Woohoo, more Jack Black. Yay.
Jack Black's alright, man.
I've never hated him.
School of Rock is cool.
I don't hate Jack Black. I just don't find him as funny as other people do. I don't know what it is about him.
The best thing he ever did was Pick a Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which made like
where it's like
$100 million, like $100,000.
I think the reason that Pick a Destiny works so well is because it's Jack Black making a Jack Black movie instead of Jack Black being in a movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, Jack Black retrospective coming soon, 2018.
No,
just don't have King Kong on there, please.
I hated Be Kind Rewind
King
so
Kong
much.
Last week, he should have been here. Not that one, the newest one. After that, this is the last bit of news that I got, guys. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, coming to Blu-ray courtesy of Warner Archive. Now, we don't know if this is the cut or the uncut version, but
or if it has both cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of a crappy way to release this film because there's a good story with that movie. So I don't think the archive titles have special features, do they?
Not usually. No, I'm trying to think of some of the ones I have, and I don't think there is.
Yeah,
but
so that sucks. Just an HD version of Chainsaw 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Well, it's better than the DVD, because the DVD is fucking horrible, so...
You know what? The DVD actually does not look great, so yeah, it is probably will be an improvement.
And I will say, the Warner Archive line does really good work. Like, some of their DVDs and shit
they're actually pressed discs on the Blu-rays as well.
The Blu-rays are actually pressed, yeah. But, like, even, some of the transfers that they've done for the DVDs have been really good. I think I only own a couple of Blu-rays, but they do good work. It's too bad they don't do features and shit like that, but especially for a film like Leatherface, because the story behind it is a lot more entertaining than the film itself, which we've recently talked about, and I really do not like Leatherface all that much, man. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, we were all surprised that we didn't like it that much.
But I would like to see a full-on documentary about it, and the making, like, just have more info about it, because.
Yeah, even a commentary, even like a new commentary.
Yeah. definitely more entertaining than the film.
I don't know. Did you guys see any other news? That's all I have.
Let's see. Net neutrality.
Ooh, god damn. You know, I was passing this off as kind of fucking internet bullshit there for a while. You know, people were kind of buzzing around the idea of this net neutrality bullshit, and I was like, and then it became like real. I was like,
real.
I was like, holy fuck it. I mean, that's actually quite scary for you guys, I guess. I'm not really sure entirely how this fully works, but I mean, I'm assuming it's, you know, it's contained to the United States. So let's
say I have Comcast. Comcast could be like, oh, I could slow down Netflix because we have a
partnership with Hulu.
Streaming. Yeah, so I could slow down Netflix unless you pay more money. And if you pay more money, then I'll bump up your speeds back to what Netflix was when this shit wasn't around.
So and what's gonna? It's not like the second that this would fail in courts or whatever. It's not like the next day all of a sudden this terrible shit would happen. It would be gradual. But the problem is you wouldn't be able to stop it, which is scary. Mm-hmm. And you know and who knows? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do all that, but the fact that they legally can is what's terrible. You know what I mean?
I think the idea of having to pay to use websites, you know, certain fees, you know, say YouTube, you got to pay like $20 a month, you know,
it's basically what it is.
To pay, you know, another $10 a month to have Facebook and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of puts it into this really nasty perspective of how much you use the internet once you start adding up all these specific websites and that you use on a regular basis. Like, you know, $5 here for, you know, Instagram and shit like that. Like, there's no fucking way.
We would go back to the dark ages in terms of technology, dude. Yeah. If it really got to that point, like, I wouldn't pay for it. I would be like, well, see you guys never. I guess we're not going to be friends anymore. Well, you guys text.
It's complete horseshit, though. I mean, when you think about it,
will come back. Well, I mean, no, that won't work.
You're already paying your services to have the internet, and then if you got to pay on specific sites, I mean, it's going to break your bank, dude. That's ridiculous. Like, who? Yeah, I'm not paying to use certain websites.
What we're doing right here, this would be over.
Yeah.
No more podcasting.
Yeah.
But maybe the coolest thing that could ever happen out of this is video stores might be able to make a comeback. If everybody got to pay $20 extra to stream video on Netflix or Hulu or Shudder or something, maybe video stores will start popping up.
Yeah, last time I checked, man, the memberships in a video store were free. So
yeah,
you don't gotta pay your $20. But yeah, no,
I still have one. I should take a camera and do like a Patreon exclusive video showing you guys my video store or something, because I still have one out here. It's pretty cool.
Tapes?
No, God no.
That would be awesome.
They have DVD, but they still get all the new releases and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I'll have to check it out. I haven't been there, and I am a member there, but I've rented like twice from there. Just there's no point, you know what I mean? But like one day I would just like to shut everything off and just like live on the video store for a little while just for fun. I don't know. Take me back a little bit.
Be the old school.
Yeah.
I can do it anytime I want.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have the
family videos.
The family videos are on here too. I think we actually have a couple. We only have one that's like close to us, but you know, there's a few more in driving distance. You know, not good to like rent from, because there would be no point to drive all the way back there, but like to buy stuff. And then, but the one that I'm talking about is a mom and pop.
Mom and pop.
Yeah, I have a mom and pop that still exists, so that's pretty cool.
That is super rare.
Well, one of the reasons is they don't only do that. They also have like tanning beds, and
of course, yeah, of course.
They like, you can pay your like electric bill there. They actually have a adult section, like an adult shop inside, like behind a curtain that you go in there and buy like dildos and stuff. So like, I've never been back there, but you know.
But he knows that they carry the black fist. You know, they got a black fist, and yeah, shit, man.
That's the sad news, guys.
That is.
That would suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's going to actually affect me up here. I think it's fucking for you guys. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, the thing that worries me, though, if this actually fully goes through, is, I mean, the podcast world is going to fucking disintegrate.
Like, even Jason said it could, like, ruin podcasting in general.
But it will, though, because nobody will be able to... No one's going to pay these fees, and it's just... It just won't work. With their rules and guidelines that they're going to be doing and stuff. No, that's sad. That's really, really fucking sad.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's this very, like you said, very, very sad news. All right,
It's huge.
Yeah, it's fucking. I can't believe I was totally just pushing this thing off to the side, thinking whatever, but it's become a reality.
It's been
man.
quite a disappointing week for me, man. Fuck, that happened. Eminem's album came out, and I was disappointed in it.
I heard that
lost a nail biter.
He opened up like a pop-up diner in Detroit. He was selling spaghetti.
Yeah, mom's
spaghetti.
What?
I saw it on Twitter.
He had spaghetti sandwiches too.
Yeah, he
Sandwiches?
opened up a pop-up.
Dude, you never ate spaghetti sandwiches? I had one today.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Yeah, some good shit.
You had one today?
Yeah, no lie. I'm not lying.
I believe
we had
you.
spaghetti and I made a sandwich.
That seems something like you would do.
Fucking thing sucks!
All right, let's move this along here. Let's get into Moodz Swings and the return of Box Office Brawl.
Let's get ready to rumble!
We actually have a Box Office Brawl to do this week.
Yeah, the only reason we have it is because we won't be recording a non-special episode until at least the 10th of January, at least after the 10th. So technically, the earliest would be the 14th. Yep. And as you guys know, we're going to be off. We record on the 7th. We post our top 10 on the 10th of January. And then we won't be back to a regular episode until very least the 14th. And in between that time, Insidious Chapter 4... No, actually, it's not, because they can't call it that, because fuck them. Insidious The Last Key is coming out Friday, January 5th, which will probably be the first 2018 film I see.
Yeah, you can go see it.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
You can go see it with your movie pass.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love all three Insidiouses.
Yeah.
Insidious.
Insidious.
I still have not even watched the third one yet. That's crazy.
Insidious. Look at it, kills JP. Now I know what makes JP laugh.
I don't
even
get the joke.
Me neither.
Because you say like cactus. You don't say cactus. You say cacti. I said all four Insidiouses, and then I was like Insidious.
Oh my god. This guy's drank one too many monsters, man.
Insidious.
Okay.
It's another word thrown into our dictionary of ridiculousness.
Insidious. Oh my god.
I want to create a dictionary on the website where it has all of our random just in jokes and different things that we've came up with over the years.
Continuity.
Like it's referred to as a landmine, or a landmine goes click when somebody has a film as their number one that is not anything that anybody's seen, or it's just like a complete
straight out of left field, man.
Yeah,
straight out of left field.
It's actually other podcasts call it mostly Exploding Heads, but I've heard other people say it too. It's a landmine goes click. Like, we have all kind of these cool little fucking references and shit that we came up with, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Insidious, we haven't done this in a while. We haven't done a Box Office Brawl since Saw 8 back in October. So
yeah, it's been a couple months, man.
A couple months, yeah. We don't have a concept of the theaters that it's going to be in because it's so early. We don't really know much about it in terms of what it's going up against. What does it? We actually should know that. Do you have that information, Jeremy?
It goes up against January 5th.
I imagine
Currently, it says it's by itself.
By itself.
What?
So
Okay.
it's going up against nobody.
What?
Yeah, so nothing new, but nothing really huge like around it either in the week before or after. So
I guess that kind of makes sense. Beginning of the year, not a whole lot coming out. So
yeah, it's New Year's.
The worst month, January.
Yeah, January's the worst month. It's New Year's week. You know, it's the week of the new year, December 1st or January 1st. So, whew, man, who wants to go first on this one? Nobody. Okay. I'll go first.
crickets.
Since
I
I'm-
always go first, and I
I'll go
lose
first.
anyway.
Well, I was actually trying to think there. I don't know.
Okay, so
But-
Insidious 4 coming out in a bad month, January. It is the 4th installment. They all made money. All of them made money. They've all done decent. They've all had relatively small budgets, 1.5 million. I guess Chapter 2 had 5 million, and then Chapter 3 had 10 million. That's a lot, actually.
The first film had a $1.5 million budget.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
that low. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's not the that I don't know what the budget is on this new one, but I do have the information of the opening weekends from the previous releases of the Insidious films. So in 2011, Insidious, the first one made 13 million opening weekend. Chapter 2 made 40 million opening weekend. Now it was in a prime month of September as well. And then Chapter 3 made 22 million, so almost half less of Chapter 2 in relatively the same amount of theaters.
What month? Sorry, what month was that?
Which one?
June.
Chapter 3?
Yeah.
June. So I do not think that this is a great situation for Insidious: The Last Key. It's also the 4th film. Typically, by that time, things start to go downhill. I'm going to come in at 15.5, and the only reason I'm doing that is because it's Blumhouse.
Yeah.
18
And Blumhouse
million.
does not do bad. You said 18, Jeremy?
Motherfucker, that sucks. So 15 and 18? Yeah, that's kind of the range I was into. Mind you, Blumhouse has just been killing it lately. Yeah, that's tough because it is such a bad month. I mean, January is such a shitty month because nobody wants to spend money because they, well, theoretically don't have it
Yeah.
after the holidays.
Not to mention, like, it's a week where everybody's hungover.
Yeah, true that. Part 4. What are some of the highest grossing Part 4 films of all time from franchises, I wonder? There'd be an interesting little list to compile there. Theatricals, anyways. Obviously. 15, 18. I'm going to come in about 16 and a half. I was reading that ballpark range, so I'm coming in between you guys. 16 and a half million.
Okay, so Jeremy versus Moodz. Jeremy came in at 18. Moodz comes in at, what'd you say, 16 and a half?
16.5.
Okay, I said 15.5.
I think you said 15.
I said 15.5.
Did he?
He said 5.5.
And me versus Jeremy would be, he said 18.
Jeremy.
Me versus Jeremy.
You said Jeremy.
He said
versus
18.
Jeremy.
And then Moodz versus me. Moodz says 18 or 16.5.
Yeah.
I say 15.5. So I'm actually very happy at where you guys came up because I was hoping to be the lowest just in case it disappoints. I think that I'm actually very confident that I'm going to win this one.
So you actually think it's going to do lower than what you predicted?
Yes, probably. Either right where I'm at or lower.
You know, it's a tough call, man. You know, being a Part 4, the time it's coming out, yeah, I mean, it could be surprising and do well, or it could do the complete opposite, or in your case, exactly what you thought. So I don't know. I won't be surprised if it comes under 15 or if it goes over 18 and finishes like 19, 20 or something like that. I mean, still wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
It's Insidious.
We'll
I think
see.
people still dig these films.
I
for
do.
the most part,
I like all
so-
3 of them.
Yeah. I gotta see the third one. I should probably watch that before. Yeah. Who knows? I probably won't even get in the cinema anyways, so fuck. Whatever. You know. The joys of living here. But yeah, that's Box Office Brawl.
Oh,
Ding.
one other thing. I just want to shout this out there real quick. There is actually anybody in the Pittsburgh area. They're doing a John Carpenter Film Fest at the Hollywood Theater. They're showing Dark Star, The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and They Live. It's $30 for all 4 films, or you can just go see whatever one you want for 10. And I just thought that was really cool. And apparently, apparently there's going to be some in January. They're doing Jania Scary, so there should probably be some more horror films hitting the Hollywood at that time too. So
Man,
I know there are a few people that listen that are from the area.
It's pretty fucking cool, man. Wouldn't that be super cool to watch those films on the big screen and then have John Carpenter off to the side actually playing the scores live?
Oh man, that would be insane. Yeah,
Wouldn't that be
that would
fucking
be,
cool?
That would be insane.
That would be cool.
Also, apparently, like Rob G from Blumhouse and Shockwaves, apparently they're doing some kind of like tour thing or something, and they're actually coming to the Hollywood at some point. I don't know what it is, if it's old films, new films, like indie stuff. It's like it's like a Dread Central Presents thing or something. They're coming around to different locations, and I feel like it's new movies, like indie flicks or something. I don't know when it's happening, but I seen that he posted that, and so that's kind of interesting. I think we talked about that news that they were starting up like a label or something.
Yeah,
But I didn't know it was like with theatrical like films. So that's all. They're coming to the Hollywood, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. Whenever I find out more information about it.
So what's the cost on that weekend pass? Or
$30
if you were listening.
So under $10 per film, like $7.50 or something. It's not too bad.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to go to it. It's in February. I think it's like the first or second week of February. Just hoping to. I don't know. Sometimes sitting that long, it scares me a little bit.
Oh, come on, man. I've done 24 hours every year, bro.
I'm actually gonna try to. I want to have that happen at that theater. Like, it would be the perfect theater for it. Like, I don't know who I have to talk to, but like, I need to show them evidence of the success of the Music Box doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's huge.
It would be super cool to have that in this area. You know what I mean? Something like that. Because I've seen
Nobody
other places do the 24-hour things too, but it's like few and far between.
Yeah, what are the seats like in your cinema?
The only thing is, is yours big, Jeremy?
My theater?
Yeah, is there a lot of seats in there?
It's like 200, 250.
What kind of seats do you have? Is it like the the
No,
really
they're
big?
classic.
Well,
Classic
this was like an actual like theater for
Yeah.
like a stage theater before.
Oh,
It has
yeah.
like balcony and stuff. So like it, it's an old theater. So like I think it has a lot of seats. I don't know if it has 200 though. That seems like a lot. I'll have to find that out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I hate,
Nice. They're showing Wild Beasts.
I hate the fucking
Jan-
seats in our cinemas, man. Like, I mean, any film that's over 2 hours, man, you're struggling to get through it.
Dude,
It's just
the
bad,
closest
man.
theater to me, dude, in Uniontown. Oh my god! Like
I love the old school
the
theaters.
The Schroyers are from there. This is like the worst theater ever, and it's the closest one to me. Like, the seats are old as like they have the same seats from when I was watching Amityville Remake back in middle school. The same seats, like half of them are broken and stuff. It's like such a bad theater. It needs like a remodel.
I love that when you walk into those cinemas and half the seats are still in the down position because they actually don't fold back up.
Yeah, it used to be a Carmike's and they changed it to an AMC. It is so bad, but at the same time, I have so many other great theaters in driving distance too. Like, we have the Luxury with the recliners. We have the Hollywood, which is comfortable.
I hate that shit. I like the old school. Give me the shitty
recliners?
seats.
Oh,
No.
dude, I can't do it. It sucks, man.
Listen, dude, I watched goddamn
Hard on the ass.
Dark Tower and It Comes at Night No, I actually was in the good theater for that. I did another double feature. It was the Mummy and it was the Mummy and It Comes at Night, I think. I can't remember. I did a double feature at the Uniontown Theater, and it sucked so bad. It was like so. But yeah. Anyway,
I love those cinemas, man, that have that like really awesome stadium seating, and they're like almost like recliners. The seats are so high, you have like headrests and shit. Oh, those are the fucking bomb, dude.
AMC Uniontown 6.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can find some photos of this mofo.
And it's barely like an incline too. Like, so like Moodz was talking like the incline, like it's not an incline at all, really, man.
Ah, shitty. That's crazy. All right. Well, that is, again, Box Office Brawl.
22 shots.
Let's get into some dead mail.
You've got mail.
No releases?
No. This whole month has been a fucking write-off. There's
Hell Knight is okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, but I mean, there's nothing too notable.
Dead mail. Digging into Fangoria's library. We're going to be looking in an issue that has Get Infected. It's 28 days later. So they say infected. So, I don't know. Maybe they say they are zombies. Who knows? Terminator 3. The Hulk. Exorcist the Beginning. The Eye. And Wrong Turn 1.
The first one.
All right, and this is from June 2003, issue number 223. All right, this note comes from Andrew Cash, and he writes, I'm absolutely appalled by the treatment of Asian cinema in the U.S. Hollywood has practically killed the Hong Kong film industry by buying up and wasting all its talent, John Woo, Jackie Chan, etc., while sending hacked-up versions of their films direct to video. Thanks, Miramax. Japan has to be the best producer of contemporary horror, but brilliant films like Pulse, Cure, and Dark Water are bought up the second they're finished and denied U.S. distribution in favor of the remake chop block. And thanks to this golden age of commercialized censorship, important and controversial films like Battle Royale and Ichi the Killer and Suicide Club won't ever see the light of distribution, while any guinea pig could be easily purchased at Best Buy. Even Godzilla movies don't get released here anymore. The few fortunate films that see a stateside release get shoddy treatments at best. DreamWorks dumped the original Ringu onto an overpriced no-frills disc or bargain bin quality box art and zero publicity in order to make a quick buck off diehard fans without overshadowing their tepid remake. Needless to say, this is a sad time for Asian film lovers. Sure, we get an occasional Tasuke Miike movie via a Fendura or Media Blasters, but it still isn't enough. After all, every anime is brought over here, so why can't I find a single film by late Kinjay Fukushima? An entire world of bold cinema is going right over the heels of distributors and audiences. Anchor Bay and Blue Underground have certainly been doing justice to local and European genre fare, so why don't they take notice? These films deserve to be seen.
Yeah, that's an article. That's a letter of the time, because more or less everything kind of gets released now. Anything worth a damn. Like, there's a couple in limbo still every once in a while, but like even the movies that he mentioned are all have multiple releases over here now, like Pulse and stuff like that.
That was the start of it. I mean, he mentioned Media Blasters, and they have their Asian line and stuff, and essentially all those films ended up getting released by who he actually mentioned. Is
that the Tartan line?
No, not the Tartan line. That line there too, man. They fucking end up releasing like everything.
A lot.
But yeah, this of the times, 2003, it was kind of the start of it. But yeah, all those Asian films, like he mentioned Ichi the Killer, it came out shortly after that. His first edition on DVD and stuff. So yeah, I just kind of missed that. But yeah.
All right, this one comes from Felicia Liss. And she writes, I just saw Fango's video's latest release, Another Heaven, and it really surprised me. I wonder if this bitch saw Skin Deep. Instead, well, it wasn't out yet, I think. Instead of buying your typical horror film with the usual plot and outcome, Another Heaven was a refreshing break from the ordinary. This movie had it all: action, humor, suspense, drama, and plenty of gore, such as brains cooking on the stove and a plant stuffed into a woman's head. More importantly, it had a really decent plot. Wait till she sees fucking... Rather than sitting through the entire movie already knowing what was going to happen, Another Heaven had me guessing until the end. It's nice to know that there are still gifted, talented directors out there who could come up with original material. From a fucking Fangoria movie, what the hell is this bitch talking about?
Well, there were some good ones. I mean, Skin Deep definitely is not one of them. I haven't seen this one.
I've yet to see a great Fangoria Presents film.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, there's probably not too many great ones, but Dead Meat's a good one, though.
Then again, I haven't seen a ton. I've only seen about 8. You know what one was good? Hunger.
Hunger was one of the better ones from that line that they put out that year. It was like 7 or 8 of them.
That Pig Hunt, Fragile, Roadkill.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember those. Okay. Last one, short. This one comes from Sam Patchen, and he writes, I don't understand why Fango wastes article space on low-budget crap like Scarecrow. After seeing this, I regret not having picked up Made in Manhattan. Horrible production values, and even worse script, most likely assembled by the filmmaker's local special ed class, and a whole cast of terrible actors make this film.
That was fucking mean, man.
And a whole cast of terrible actors make this film not only bad, but aggravating to watch. The only saving grace is gorgeous, talented B-movie good goddess Tiffany Shepis.
Yes.
Shepis.
Whose performance is the sole reason not to tear the tape from the VCR, set it aflame, and dance around it in an evil spite jig. Indeed, every low-budget horror flick she's been in seems to have been better because of her, case in point, Death Factory. Her performance as the deceased creature encompasses both menace and beauty, but any intelligence is lost in Scarecrows as the title creature flips and quips to his victims, Freddy's style, before lopping badly made severed heads off. Although I will give Anthony Ferrante's FX team props for a well-made creature costume, no matter how good the monster looks, it can't save a movie doomed from the beginning due to a terrible production team that just churned this out with the worst possible taste that even stoners would hate.
Special assembled by the special ed class? Fuck, that was funny, man. That was fucking funny, man. And very, very mean. Yeah, Scarecrow sucks, man. It's crazy they actually made 3 of those films too. I mean,
I don't know which one they're talking about.
It's the one from 2002. I just remember because it's got Tiffany Shepis in it, and usually everything that she's in, it's pretty memorable because she either gets naked or, she's actually, for an indie actor, she's pretty good. But that guy was raging about that shit. What did he expect, man? I mean, let's face it, how many great Scarecrow films are actually out there? I mean, Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. I mean, fucking Scarecrows. Scarecrows, like those are like the two. Those are like legitimately great Scarecrow films. That's pretty fucking pathetic. And I think we've talked about this before. This is one subgenre that has been just. I mean, I wouldn't say neglected over the years. There's not a whole pile of Scarecrow films, but man, they really lacked any even good ones.
Right now, from it's called Scarecrow, and it's from.
Sci-Fi Channel
2014 or something. Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, the sci-fi film.
Didn't somebody make one called Husk that wasn't bad?
Husk is
that's After Dark.
After Dark. That was actually a decent one. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a subgenre that's been not really the greatest. They don't make a lot of good Scarecrow film, which is kind of a shame, man, because the Scarecrow.
Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yeah, I mean, Scarecrows are cool, man. Like, they're actually kind of scary, no pun intended.
Yeah.
They're just evil looking and shit, and it sucks that they don't utilize that. It's like using the graveyard as a setting. Surprisingly enough, there's not a ton of films with graveyard as the main setting in your film.
I want to make a damn good Scarecrow movie now.
I want to make a Scarecrow film that's set in a fucking cemetery. I don't know why there'd be a scarecrow in a cemetery,
but plot hole.
we can figure out something, man.
Guess you have to flesh that one
Well,
out.
we won't hire the kids from the special ed class to write the script.
All right.
Is that it for Dead Now?
Yeah, but we have some VHS releases. We have a Flashback from Lionsgate, Dark Wolf from Fox, Scarecrow.
Oh,
20th
Dark
Century
Wolf.
Fox, huh?
Dark Wolf fucking sucks, man.
You mean from Disney?
Yeah, exactly.
Demon Slayer from New Concord, and Bloodthirst, Legend of the Chupacabras.
Nice.
All right. And then the next page, it says, 28 days later, this is the way the world ends with a plague of infected zombie-like killers.
Zombie-like / actually infected.
I appreciate zombie-like.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
It's better than
good.
just saying zombies.
Mm-hmm.
It's alluding to the fact that they're actually infected people.
How the fuck is there an
the
article
undead.
of Incredible Hulk in this fucking shit?
Wow.
All right. And then DVD, we have Blue Sunshine.
Good film. Actually, really fucking cool film.
Virgin Among the Dead.
Nice.
Jess Franco.
Jess Franco.
Darkness Falls.
Wow. These are all pretty good.
Stepfather 2.
Nice.
It's a really good film.
Uh,
Was that like the Synapse DVD? Is that what they're alluding to there?
Stealth DVD release of 2003 Stepfather 2.
Huh. Weird.
Despiser, which is like horrible fucking CGI something. And Blood Harvest. And that should be it for Deadmail.
Actually, not too bad. Blood Harvest is kind of fun. Low budget shit. Good stuff. Good stuff. Not too many articles this week.
I hope special ed class really. That's the funniest line we've seen in a while.
Fuck, that was good, man. It was just straight up mean.
And on the back, we have an ad from Suncoast Video and Blue Underground.
All right, so that is going to conclude Deadmail and Moodz Swings.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding?
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
What do we do?
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
Alrighty, so getting into the dub portion of the show, where we go round tree, review some films, give some ratings, and then pass the baton. JP, you want to start us off?
Yes, y'all. I will start us off. So, pretty much all Patreon reviews this week. Actually, all of them are Patreon reviews. And first up, I'll go with the last one I watched. This was from, who the hell gave me this? I think it's like Edgar Sanchez or something. But this one's called Cult of the Vampires from 2016. Did you guys see this one last year?
Nope.
No.
I was kind of interested. It was kind of weird. Like, I was just like wondering like why he picked this one. I always try to like, because most of the time they never give a reason. They're just like, we'll review this one.
I'll talk to him. He's a cool guy.
No, he is cool. He comments on like all my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
If that is in fact who picked this one for me. But I was just like kind of weirded out by this.
Oh, this one looks
'cause I was
super
like-
shitty.
I was like, what? I was like, I have never heard of it. It came out. It's like very recent, so it's not like something that somebody's been dying for us to talk about for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like something from the 80s or something that we just never got to. So I was just like, okay, this is odd. This is an odd choice, but basically it follows a group of rocker chicks, like who are in a band, and the lead character is in the band, and she's also a vampire. So it's called Cult of the Vampires, but it's not really a cult. It's more like a coven of vampires. Basically, like she's like in a group of vampires that's like led by like one dude, and like they have rules, like they're not allowed to like kill people and like drink their blood and stuff. They get their blood given to them, and they're like not allowed to do certain things. And basically, like she does something wrong, and they like kind of hold her hostage like in a place, and then they release her, and she goes back. There's like a record deal that was going on with her band, like they were about to get signed, and she like just disappears for a little while, and then she goes back to the band, and they're like on the verge of like getting signed and have this big like record deal. And she also is a lesbian, so she's like has a girlfriend, and there's like the lead vampire dude, like he has like people under him, and like one of the people under him attacks her girlfriend or something like that, and then she's like about to die, so she turns her into a vampire. Our lead character turns her girlfriend into a vampire. Honestly, guys, like this one was like it was really boring. Honestly, like it looks like a movie that has like a lot going for it. Like the aesthetic is actually really nice. Like they have some like overhead like helicopter shots of like the city, and it has like this washed out palette look to it, like this sort of like I guess like opaque type of like palette, and it has some good music actually. Like the band that they're in is actually cool. Like it opens up with them like doing a song, like singing it and stuff. I was like, oh, this is like cool. Like it's like kind of this cool little like all chick rock band, and they're like, you know, just it's kind of like a rocker movie. Like one of the characters like surfs, but she's a vampire, so like she surfs at night. Which is, it's like it has like good like atmosphere to it at times. It's super like indie looking at times too, though.
I don't know why. I just pictured a vampire surfing, and it just totally made me laugh. Like these huge fangs sticking out of her mouth, and she's fucking surfing.
But it has like these things going for it, but it just misses. Like I don't really understand the rules of like the coven and like what they're allowed to do and like why they're not allowed to do certain things. Like it's really not set up super well. It just kind of misses a lot of beats that a successful movie needs to have. There's actually some editing problems I noticed in it too. Like, all right, you know how like if you're doing a scene like in a car or something, and the camera's on one person and then it cuts to the other person? Well, there should never be a close-up shot of one character and there be a cut to the same character. You know, like they just cut out a piece of dialogue, because you notice the cut at that point, right? like it's not a YouTube video. You can't just like put a cut in the middle of like the scene, you know, and still have the same shot, your same angle, same shot, but it's a cut.
You do.
Well, I make YouTube fucking videos, not movies.
You have fucking edits every 20 seconds.
Not all the time, just a couple videos, just trying something different. But yeah, I mean, it is like stuff like that that's a little problematic, but like the aesthetic of the film is very nice. So it's like kind of like you have like this art style, and then you have like this bad filmmaking thing happening too. So it's like very conflicting. I wanted to like it. Like I was watching it. I was like, oh, this could totally be cool. Like I would like to spend time in this world of this rock band who is, you know, like low level, and them trying to make it. And oh yeah, the lead singer or whatever happens to be a vampire, or the lead guitarist or whatever, and she's a lesbian and has a girlfriend, and she's in this like coven of vampire thing. Like it sounds like good on paper. Like there's certain things about it that are cool, but for the most part, it just kind of fails on most levels of actual being a good film. So I'm gonna come in like just a tad above average, because I do think that there were enough things there to kind of make you want to be in that world, but it just kind of it's like you wanted it to be good, you know what I mean? But it's boring a lot of times too. Like there was just scenes that were cool. So I'll come in at 5.5 out of 10.
That's the word you just don't want to hear.
It's boring.
Boring.
Yeah.
Yep, that's for sure. Nothing's worse than that. Well,
so that, like I couldn't even find this movie. Turns out you can rent it on Amazon for $6.
Well, it's probably that's crazy.
$6?
And it came out last year.
Everything's $6. I had to rent freaking Grapes of Death.
But this
fucking Shudder.
$6 to rent?
Yeah, that's great. And it came out in 2016. I never even heard of that one.
No, I didn't either.
I guess that's
one good thing. It only was an hour and 17 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty short.
Yep.
Coolio. Cool, man. All right, so first up here is a film that says it's from 2016. It's a 2017 release, though, and it is the Aussie film titled Hounds of Love. This is one that I wanted to check out because it was an Aussie film, and I'm a really big fan of Aussie cinema.
Jason was really high on this one. I believe he told me if there was one movie that I think he's seen it at a festival, and he's like, out of all the movies I watched, this was probably the best one. I think it was that one. I'm not sure, but he definitely
told me that
this one.
Killing of the Sacred Deer was the best.
That might have been what it was, but I think he recommended this one still.
Yeah, I've seen this one on a couple people's lists, like, to check out. You got to kind of check out this one for 2017. So I was like, not a problem. I mean, I was already interested in the fact that it was an Aussie film. So, but it's got a really basic setup to it. It's, follows the main character, Vicky. She basically gets abducted by this couple by the names of John and Evelyn, and they essentially, this is what they do. They abduct, teenage girls, have their way with them, and murder them. They're just a serial killing couple. So this is what happens to Vicky. She is staying with her mom for the weekend. Her parents have split. Her dad's like a really rich surgeon, and her mom is kind of just left the family. Like, she just didn't want to be part of that rich type thing. And she lives in this like really kind of low rent, just kind of really downbeat shitty type area and stuff. And she's just kind of left her whole life behind. And Vicky really resents her mother for that and stuff. And this one specific night, her mom says to her, she's like, "No, you're not going out. You're staying in, doing your studies and shit." Of course, Vicky doesn't listen, and she gets abducted. Hence the rest of our film. So my thoughts on this one, wow. Wow. This is an amazing movie. Amazing. Like, I was fucking taken back by this on so many different levels. It's such a beautiful film. It's shot amazing. Like, the cinematography in this film is fantastic, man. It's set in 1987, which is kind of interesting, and in this kind of low rent type area. And I really like how they set this up because, even though it's set in 1987, it doesn't keep reminding you that it's from the 80s. It's not very flashy. It's very kind of downbeat, late 80s type vibe to it and shit. I really liked the aesthetic of the film. It was fantastically done. But right away in this film, what you get is, with such a basic setup, you kind of feel like this one could go one way or the other, be very almost too basic, but you get a very complex film. The character development with all three of the main characters here, with Vicky and of course the couple, is perplexing. The amount of in-depth character study that we get here with all these characters. I mean, we get into Vicky's psyche with her family and stuff, and then the wife Evelyn. She's like a very paranoid type wife. She's involved with her husband, John, who's doing all the serial killing and stuff, but she right away is like very jealous of Vicky. So there's this whole dynamic between this couple and Vicky and all this kind of psychological things that are happening and stuff. Man, the character development is developed so well in this film. I was just taken right back, but it doesn't take anything away from the pacing of this one too. It's got this very suspenseful, just like heartfelt driven type film. You really feel the pain of Vicky in this movie as she's being subjected to this type of brutalness by this couple. Again, the dynamics are really interesting too, because John is portrayed as this straight up, just heartless serial killer. There's scenes of him where he's taking bodies out to the, to the forest and burying them, and he's got no emotion and stuff like that. But he actually becomes kind of emotionally attached to Vicky, which kind of creates this whole dynamic between Vicky and the wife and stuff, which is really interesting how that kind of plays out towards the end of the film too. Fantastic stuff. The performances, the acting in this film is really, really spot on. I think everyone did a great job. Emma Booth plays the wife. She does a fantastic job as this like paranoid type character. And they really kind of downplayed her look too. They made her look so shoddy and shitty in this film. I really enjoyed that. But, again, going back to the aesthetic, man, what a beautiful ass film. The transitions in this one are very kind of artsy. There's, the transitions, they were so interesting how they did them. It was very art house and long transitions and shit. And I just wasn't expecting that type of, energy and, thought in, that was put into the film and stuff. It really made it, have that appeal to it, that really awesome appeal. For a film that's basically contained, it actually has really amazing pacing, which I was very surprised by because, like I said, the characters are actually interesting in this film and you really want to find out like where this thing's going and how this thing's going to end, which leads me to the end of the film. I completely 100% agree with what they did with the ending, but I think it actually would have worked if they had went a different way even more because of the way they set it up. There's a moment in this film where when you're watching it, the agony of watching the scene is just so depressing. And if it had to play it out in a different way, it would have just been, holy shit, man, unbelievable. But, all in all, a fantastic movie. I don't really have anything bad to say about this one because every technical spec to this movie was fantastic. I thought it was just so well done. It's just one of the best films of the year I've seen. 9.5 out of 10. I highly recommend everyone check this one out. It's just awesome. It's very haunting. It's got some nastiness to it, man. And you just fucking hate these main characters, man. The captors so much in this film, especially with this one part.
What's it called?
Hounds of Love.
Hounds of Love.
You really fucking hate them, and at the same time you feel for them at the same. It's got such an emotional roller coaster throughout this film. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. I just absolutely loved it. Check it out, man.
Rent that one for $2.99 on Amazon as well.
Why is that one cheaper than that other piece of shit that you reviewed?
I don't know, but as soon as you mentioned this one, it was already one that was kind of on my radar, but I think you said it in a chat or something. You said it was good. I added it to, which, speaking of social media, earlier in the show, I've been starting to use Letterboxd a lot. I know Jeremy uses it a lot too to keep track of things, and it's actually really good, man. It's super helpful for list making and keeping track of stuff. And like right now, my watch list is all 2017 films that I want to get to before the end of the year. I added Hounds of Love to it, so I'll definitely get to that one before the end of the year. But Jeremy, you actually missed two films last week that me and Moodz both recommend. Well, he recommended one and I recommended one, which is. I
was going to watch Super Dark Times tomorrow.
Yeah, Super Dark Times, and the other one was Mayhem. Both potential top 10ers of the year, along with what sounds like Hounds of Love now. So definitely really pumping up my. I mean, dude, at this point, like my list.
Grab Mayhem on 4K.
My list looks super good right now, but it totally like there's still, it seems like, a good 10 movies that are list potential that I haven't even seen yet. So like my list potentially could look which just blows my mind because my list, I already love my list. So to see that it could actually change that much with this little time we have left, this stuff that I still need to see, I'm really excited. Yeah, I was really happy that this one, was that type of level for me because I needed something like this from this year because it hasn't been my favorite year, of all time kind of thing. And this film kind of just elevated it for me. It was fucking really awesome. So what's the final word on I Am a Hero? 2017? I haven't looked into it any further yet, so okay. I'll let you know after the show. But it seemed like it was, so. Yeah. All right, Jeremy.
All right. Patreon pick from the year 2007. It is a film called The Signal. So this is a really interesting film. It's released by Magnolia, and this is a
Michael Fisher pick for you.
Yeah, this is a non-linear kind of a movie, meaning that it doesn't follow your usual story arc that we're used to seeing in pretty much every other movie. It's kind of like an anthology. It all takes place in the same world, but it's broken up into 3 different kind of segments, each one directed by a different director, but all of them includes the same character and things like that. But it's very interesting the way that it's pieced together. So we follow our 2 main characters, Maya and her boyfriend / mistress, Max. And they are fooling around one night, and there is a bunch of static going on their phones. and they don't know. They just assume that it's nothing, and they head home, and Maya confronts her husband Clark, who, of course, probably suspects something's going on between the two, and there's a lot of commotion going on outside. And what we learn that there is a signal that's coming out of the TV that are making people go crazy and start murdering each other. So it's like this psychedelic kind of image comes onto the TV. Whoever watches it, they lose track of what's reality, in the sense that their animalistic tendencies come to life.
This is a sequel to Halloween 3.
Yeah, it's a really
Dr. Chalice never got him to turn it off.
Yeah, it's a really weird movie, and it's pieced together in a very weird way because as an audience, you don't know what's reality and what's going on in the character's head that are focusing on at that point. So let's say we're in Clark's head. We see what he sees, but that might not actually be what's going on in reality. So it's like it's kind of a mindfuck kind of a movie in the sense that the filmmakers don't show what's really going on the entire time. We could be seeing our characters' hallucination of what they want to achieve in life. So Clark wants to kill Ben because Ben's sleeping with his wife. He may have he may be seeing some kind of fantasy of him killing Ben, but in reality, this is happening. So it's like a whole bunch of weird mindfuck kind of a thing. This movie is really interesting. It wasn't even on my radar. I haven't even heard of it before, and it's actually really funny too. It's a black comedy. It has some really comedic aspects going on with it, but the gore is really good. Everything about it's really a really interesting movie, just narrative wise. And I think that a lot of people could have a different thought about what's happening with the characters and what's reality and what's not reality, what's in the characters' minds and everything like that. So if you guys get a chance to watch The Signal, highly recommend it. I haven't really heard too many people talk about it, but I had a good time with it, so I give it an 8 out of 10.
It's on my list to check out.
I've seen it before. It's got AJ Bowen in it, which was actually one of the reasons that I watched it. I like AJ Bowen. It's been a couple years since I've seen it, so I can't really remember. Like even when he was describing it, like I totally didn't remember that it was directed by 3 people, and like I just remember it. I do remember it being kind of funny at times, but yeah, it's one that I did like when it came out. I don't know if I reviewed it on here. I don't think that I did, but I definitely watched it since we've done this podcast. It's in my ratings somewhere, so I definitely rated it before.
Never mind. I was thinking it was The Tunnel for a second. That's the one I've on the list to watch. Yeah, The Signal. Yeah. There's so many movies called The Signal, man.
There's one from 2014 with Lawrence Fishburne, and there's
that was the one that I avoided. That
the 2007 one, or I think 2007.
That's the one I just reviewed, you dumbass.
Yeah.
No, there's another one too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad you liked that one because I thought it was pretty good when I watched it. Definitely kind of a weird movie. Cool concept. Really it's almost weird. It's almost like an Infected style movie.
Like the TV makes them infected and they go on murderous rampages against each other because of the TV. It's interesting, and the structure's interesting. I think that's like the most fascinating thing with this movie is that it's non-linear. So if you're used to watching movies, of course, like we all are, it's hard to watch a movie that doesn't follow the beginning, middle, and ending type of narrative that we're used to watching. So it's
for some reason, I think I had a problem with the end or something. I'm looking at my rating. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 back in 2015. So
this is what I was thinking of. Yeah, The Signal from 2014.
Yeah, with Lawrence Fishburne.
I don't think... Is he oh yeah, that's okay. Fuck, I didn't even realize he was in that one. Yeah, The Signal's a good film, man. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it all kind of comes together, though.
You've seen that, then?
The Signal? Yeah, I own it.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't really say anything. Made it seem like you haven't seen it.
No, I've seen it. I've actually reviewed it on my channel before.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I guess it's back to me. And this one, right? Me?
Yeah.
This one, oh my god, this came from goddamn Matt
my best friend.
Janikowski, I think. And I'm like, what the hell, bro? What's up with this?
Welcome to my world, dude.
He gave me Slaughter Claus, which, by the way, I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to buy this shit. So I paid $6 for Slaughter Claus. Thanks.
Oh my god.
You got the DVD now?
Yeah. So I have the DVD. Okay, so I don't even know what I mean, there's a Santa Claus and there's this elf dude who is like got on some like fake everything's
now,
fake.
Now JP, I just want to take you into my world. Imagine having to watch like 7 of these movies and you're like, "Oh, I would do it. I wouldn't complain."
I could totally do it.
No.
Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit.
No, this movie right here is worse than anything you've watched, Jeremy.
I don't think so. I don't think this is worse than anything he's watched. But Slaughter Claus essentially just follows these antics of this Santa Claus killer and this little elf. Like, it's not really a story. Like, it's just a bunch of random scenes, it seems like, almost.
Yeah.
There's like a scene where, like, actually, you know what's funny about this movie is that this would have been torture to watch by myself, but thank God I watched it with another person, and it actually, we laughed a few times. There's like a scene where this dude gets hung with Christmas lights, which is really funny because it's like it just keeps cutting back and showing it again and again, and it's like a dummy, and then it's this guy, and then it's a dummy, and it's probably one of the funnier dummy things that I've seen. You know what I mean? It looks pretty bad. The other scene that stands out is a scene in which this woman is throwing up in a sink. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's just like, what the hell?
It's ridiculous.
By the point that you get to that, because at first it's like, okay, this movie's bad, but it's like funny. But I would say that point and after, it's like overstayed its welcome. Like, it's no longer like funny. It's just annoying at that point. There was like this kid falls down the steps and like they have like a little kid like rolling down these steps, and they just speed up the footage and like play with like the speed of the footage and like the time to like make it look, but it's just, and like they're smiling and stuff. Like, it is just abysmal, awful filmmaking. Like, like this is literally like, I'm not even exaggerating. This is literally as do it yourself as you can possibly get. Like, it is like, I could have made this movie 100%.
It's this 100%. Generation's like shot on video. Essentially, is what it is.
But shot on video was actually cool, and like actually, you know, they actually like it. It's just, it's what I've said before. I think when we reviewed Mutantis, where it's like, it's almost bad that anybody can make a movie now, because
Mutantis, I forgot about that one.
Even back when, well, the Mutantis is way better than this, but even back with like shot on video, like you actually had to like put mad effort into making it work, right?
Yeah.
Like, so these movies, like it requires no effort. Like, this dude had a camera. They do a lot of shitty green screen in it too. Like, this, whoever made this, like had a camera and was like, I want to make a movie. And how it got to DVD, I have no goddamn idea. Honestly, like, I truly don't. This guy's directed 10 things, 10 of them. Slaughter Claus was his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th effort. He made classics such as Night of the Bums, Killer Clowns from Kansas on Crack.
Ooh, I want to see that.
South Will Rise Again. Isn't that a trauma?
Which one?
South Will Rise Again.
No.
Is that a trauma film?
No,
okay.
That's not a trauma.
I mean, dude, this movie is
that makes
really
it even worse.
bad.
That makes it even worse, though. This is his 8th film, and it's still that fucking bad. You know, you think by your 8th film, you'd be able to edit your films properly and not have, like, 12-second pauses between dialogue before dialogue is actually spoken. Like, that's one of the most annoying things about this film, and it's so aggravating to watch, is when the camera cuts to the character ready to talk, and then there's, like, a 5 or 6 second pause, and then he talks, and then, you know, it cuts to the person they're talking to, and then there's another pause before they answer.
Like, I've seen
It's
better
back and
editing
forth.
on films and movies that they edited in camera. You know what I mean? Where you like rewind and
but
start.
it's just,
You know what I
it's
mean?
just so easy. It's just so easy to edit film
properly, like how do you have those long pauses in there throughout the whole film?
Well, yeah, I mean,
it makes no sense to me.
Adobe you can edit better, like, and that's what $20 a month or something.
Yeah,
you know
dude,
what I mean?
There's no excuse for that. I mean, people learning how to edit would never even edit shit that bad. Like, did he do that on purpose? Because if he did, that's the most aggravating thing I've ever seen in a film.
Well, this is my argument. Like, it's obviously supposed to be bad. It's supposed to be. It's like this whole idea of filmmaking that I personally.
But there's a difference between making
it.
a bad film on purpose and making it like just aggravatingly bad. You know, it's so agitating to watch it. I was just like fucking pulling out the last strands of hair on my head watching this thing. I'm like, I was fucking dying with this one, man. It was the worst thing ever.
It's like I mean, dude, like there's no even, you can't even, like, it's not a plot. There's no plot to this movie.
No, there's like
right?
no plot at all. No.
And it's just, I can't, like, it's insane to me that it's on DVD. Like, I bet you that this guy self-distributes. He had to have, right? Like, he had to.
It's 100%. I think if you look at it, it's just straight up indie. Right? I mean, he probably even cut out the artwork himself too, because it's not even cut properly.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think that it's crazy. Like, this guy probably got $6 from me. Like, I'm not even joking. Minus the Amazon like fee or whatever, but like he probably got some money from me directly, which I'm unhappy about, sir. I want my money back,
dude. I find it so fucking hilarious that you paid $6 for this movie. At least somebody sent me this movie for free. So I didn't actually pay any money.
Dude, listen, I like right now in this stage of my life, like, you guys know my personal life a little bit. Like, I have a ton more bills than I've ever had in my life. So like my DVD budget is at the lowest it's ever been. Even more than when I didn't have a job. So like, it sucks when I have to spend $6 on this damn thing. But at the same time, you know, I actually laughed a little bit. Like, that's a plus. Like, I did laugh a little bit. I think that this is actually more entertaining than the Hip Hop Witch, like, personally.
I did laugh at the kid falling down the stair part, though. That shit actually did make me laugh, because anything to do with kids getting hurt and shit makes me laugh. I'm kind of morbid like that, but...
Yeah, but this is obviously the lowest rated film you could ever have. It's hard to say if it's worse than the Hip Hop Witch. I found it more entertaining. So on that alone, I mean, I think that it's better, if you can even say that. But it's still the lowest possible rating I could give this film, which is a 0.5 out of 10. It's truly atrocious.
Yeah, I told you, man. I told you, 0.5. So, is this movie on the same level as Beneath the Mississippi?
I still think Beneath the Mississippi is like... I mean, they're hand in hand, but I think Beneath the Mississippi is worse.
Yeah.
Simply because it's not, it's like there's no funniness to it. It's just, it's like this in terms of like shitty filmmaking. Like the biggest thing that I can say about Beneath the Mississippi is it's actually a film that was released that has literal like broken audio where it's like you can't hear what the people are saying because somehow they broke the audio and they never dubbed it or anything. So it's like, that is why that one is, and the further I get from it, you know, the less I remember about it, because at this point it's been 6-7 years since I've seen it. So it's getting further out of my memory every year. So it's hard to talk about when it gets brought up. But this movie, like, if I'm doing a top 10 worst movies of all time, congratulations, Slaughter Claus, you just made the list.
I have a list. I have a list compiled of like that. I never made the video. I stopped doing top 10 Tuesdays a long time ago, but I actually have a top 10 list of the worst films in my collection. This is definitely on there.
Yeah.
Slaughter
I mean,
Claus,
it deserves to be. It's like right there with the worst shit that I've ever seen. You know, I would say like Beneath the Mississippi, to Hip Hop Witch, this, like, at this point, Killjoy is kind of maybe even bumped out of the top 10 at this point, because
Killjoy's a fucking masterpiece compared to this thing.
Well, at one point, Killjoy was the worst movie I had ever seen. The first Killjoy.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but at this point, like, it's actually a coherent movie. Killjoy is, you know what I mean? And this is just, dude. Janowski, how the hell did you even know about this movie? It had to be from Moodz's YouTube channel.
Probably.
Like, there's no way that you could have been like, oh, I've sat through Slaughter Claus and now I want to make JP do it. He's probably never even fucking seen it. And he's just like, oh, I heard that one sucked super bad. Like, I don't mind reviewing completely awful films. I would rather review good films, but you know what I mean? Like, it was an experience. Me and Carly had a little fun with it. So,
what, did you give your a hand job when you were watching it?
Which would be exactly like what you. Excuse me. I had a joke there, but I failed on it. So, point for Jeremy. I was.
0.5 out of 10, man. Shit, dude. I mean, if I'd rate it. Too bad Jeremy hasn't seen it. This is a Hall of Painter.
Oh, yeah.
Hands motherfucking down. I mean, it's just, it's so bad. All right, moving along here. This is a Patreon pick from Michael Fisher, our good friend Michael Fisher, who likes to pick awesome films. This one's from 1999, and it's called Das Coma-Brutal Duel, or the English translation as the Coma-Brutal Duel. Yes, this is a German splatter film directed by Heiko Fipper. He's only got like 2 titles to his name. One was in 91 and this was in 99, and then he quit. That's it. So what we get here is, I mean, the narrative is a little bit coherent in this one. There's a little bit of a plot, but not much. It's very, very paper thin. The short and long of it basically is it's about this one mafia gang who wants revenge on this other gang because they did a hit on this dude's father. They killed him, and then this guy got put into a coma. 10 years later, he's back for revenge with his gang, so now they are out to kill these motherfuckers. The odd thing about it is, though, these guys are like kind of immortal. You know, you can like chop them in half, cut their heads off, blah 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 and shit, and they just keep coming back to life, which is not explained in the movie at all. They just have this ability to be immortal, and that's it. So my thoughts on this movie: this is like 90 minutes of just straight fight scenes and gore. It's nonstop, right from the opening scene of the movie to the very last shot in the movie. It's just these guys who are able to find their enemies all the time in random places, where it may be like in an open field or like on a corner, and then they just fight to the death. It's just not, that's the whole fucking movie, man. There's nothing more to it. It's like ridiculous. No plot twist. The plot does, you know, it never seems to go anywhere else but just fight scenes. But, you know, it's a German splatter film. It's not really about the narrative at all. It's about the gore. It's about the blood and shit. Are the effects decent? Not really. They're not really the greatest in the world. I've seen a lot better from German splatter films. But it's just constant. It's almost like if you're watching this movie and you weren't feeling good, it'd probably make you a little bit nauseated because it's just so much goddamn blood and shit like that, and so much gore. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it actually is kind of a fun time. It goes by quite fast, to be honest, for a movie that probably overstayed its welcome, considering it's pretty much like a replay of this previous scene. It's just fight scenes over and over again. There is some random scenes in this shit, man. Like I mentioned that this one gang is immortal. There's a scene where this dude gets fucked up and he gets kind of killed, I guess. And this other dude gets his buddy to like put half his brain inside this other guy so they can like come back to life, and then they go and fight like that. It's just fucked up, man. Like really random shit. Like they cut this dude's head open, switch out the brains, and then they're just back out in the streets fighting again. It's like, okay, it's nothing more to it, but and there's not really a whole lot more to say about it. There's absolutely no narrative to this. So I'm going to come in at about a 4.5 out of 10. It's entertaining with the gore and shit like that. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's German splatter. Seen a lot better, but it's still fun. I still recommend it if you're into these type of gore films, but seen better effects though too. In fact, some of them are it's quite laughable actually, man. Honestly, this might even be. I think I made a top 10 list one time of the goriest indie films I've ever seen. And this one was actually at the top of it. You just don't see. I do give them mad props for putting in the effort to have that much effects. Like, you know, the average film probably has, you know, so many effects and stuff. I mean, this is literally every single fucking scene in the movie. That's impressive. You know, for a low budget film to put that much effort and that much, you know, blood and gore, you know, you got to give them some credit. So it's kind of cool. Jeremy.
All right. Next up, from the year 2016, a film that a lot of you guys talked about, probably to death, but I have never seen it, and that is The Neon Demon. Now, Winding Perrin. How do you pronounce the name, JP?
Who?
The director of Neon Demon.
What's his name? I don't even know.
I always fucking mispronounce his name.
Nicholas Winding Reef? Renif?
Winding Refn, whatever. This dude, like, I was a huge fan of Drive when it first came out. I think I saw it like 3 times in the movie theater. I was a really huge fan of that movie. You know, it was one of his first films, and you know, I think a lot of people were connected to his visual style and his use of music in that film. And I think he carried it over into Only God Forgives. Now, Only God Forgives, I wasn't a huge fan of it when I first saw it. I know Moodz absolutely fucking destroyedly loves that movie to fucking death.
Well, I've been a fan of this guy for a long time because, I mean, honestly, dude, like, the Neon Demon, or Drive was, I don't know, he probably done like 6 or 7 films before he did Drive. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the Pusher films before?
No.
A little bit different in style and shit, but they're pretty cool, like gangster type films and shit. Mm-hmm. So he's actually got quite a different style, like, you know, for his later stuff. Pretty interesting director, actually.
Yeah. Like, and when I first saw, I've only seen it once. I really wasn't a huge fan of Only God Forgives. I think I have to give it another shot because of the fact that, just like this film, it's a very a slow burn, not much goes on kind of a film, read between the lines, but it has that mise-en-scène look that Drive has with this music and the neon lights, and then it carries over into this film, which has that very similar narrative style and a very similar soundtrack and color scheme and lighting, and it's like a mixture of Black Swan meets I don't know, I don't even know. It's like Black Swan meets. It's a very weird movie, and it had Starry Eyes meets Black Swan. That's a good similarity, and it has like a Suspiria kind of a color scheme to it. So it's an interesting film. Now, did I love this movie? I don't think I loved it as much as you guys. I don't know if I'm retarded. I'm probably retarded, but maybe I didn't read between the lines too much, and I really didn't get out of it that much during my first viewing. Maybe I have to watch it a few more times to fully grasp what's going on. But we follow Jessie. Jessie's a 16-year-old up-and-coming actress who moves to Los Angeles to, of course, try to get into the modeling business. And she is hooked up with this girl named Ruby, who gets her this amateur photo shoot. She ultimately ends up at this agency, and everybody is fascinated by her beauty. She has this natural beauty to her that the other girls, female characters in this film, wish that they had. And, you know, jealousy starts to sit in. And as Jessie becomes more and more famous, she starts to change her personalities. And her personality changes from like a good girl type of a character to a cocky type of a character. And this ultimately explodes one night when she's doing a runway show, and she sees this psychedelic triangle thingy that's very symbolic with this movie. And it's after that night that she pretty much changes as a whole as a person. Now, the movie is, nothing really goes on in this movie besides a whole bunch of weird dialogue and camera movements and things along that line. And then, like, within the next, 20 minutes of the film, things start to pick up a little bit more. We start to get a little bit more narrative as what's going on with these other models and things like that, and Jessie as a character. I think, like I said, I really need to probably watch this one a few more times, probably like Only God Forgives, before I'm able to give my full and concrete analysis as what's going on in this movie and what and what the things like the lighting and the dialogue represent to the character. I don't think that I've probably fully dived into who Jessie is as a character overall and the people around her. I mean, maybe there's some more subtle hints as what's going on, what we figure out at the end of the film throughout the movie. Maybe I missed them or something like that. But this is still an absolutely gorgeous fucking movie. It is so beautiful to look at. It has that, no pun intended, it has that neon bright purple and red and blue color scheme that Refn is so synonymous for. And it has, of course, the Martinez soundtrack, of course, who does all his movies, which is just as good as his last two endeavors in the soundtrack world. So I'd be very curious to give this one another watch down the line and maybe give some more thought to it. It's a complex movie that I think needs a lot of time to dissect in somebody's brain before they're able to give a full and complete analysis on it. But I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I really like the movie. I just need some more time with it.
I personally loved it. Like it actually blew me away when I seen it. I was just like fell in love with it. And you know, if I didn't rewatch The Witch last year and then rewatch it again with the commentary and truly see all of the fine details, the Neon Demon would have been my number one. Like that last year was like the only year where I've ever had two films that could easily be number one or not. Like it could have switched. Like they were as equal as possible. And I think that last year was my favorite list that I've ever done. I think that it's actually my best list. And I think Neon Demon at the top with The Witch was great. I honestly, like, I don't remember a ton about the Neon Demon right now. Like, I remember specific things, but I think I've just watched so many movies over the past year that, like, my brain just doesn't hold the information like it used to, dude. But I just remember being obsessed with that movie after I seen it. And we actually got a couple. I think
that's another thing with these guys, like these guys' films, like. People either really, really, really love his movies or they really, really, really hate his movies. Like I know I was reading when Only God Forgives played at Cannes, like some people gave it a standing ovation and some people were booing at the screen. And then when I was reading about this one today, the same shit was happening with this movie as well. Like people were clapping and other people were just booing and hated it. So it seems like it's that kind of he's that kind of a director, starting with Only God Forgives, that like you either love his movies or you either like absolutely hate his movies. So I think I just need to let it sit a little bit more.
Yeah, I think
there was definitely a lot of haters of the Neon Demon last year. Like,
there still is.
It's like boring, still is. Just art house garbage.
It's because a lot of people aren't willing to take the time to try and dissect a film and read between the lines and figure out exactly what it's trying to suggest to the audience.
So what do you think it's trying to just say to the audience?
I've talked about this many times. I mean, in my opinion, this movie is just a big metaphor for Hollywood, and basically
similar to Starry Eyes.
You know,
it is that it's like the way they display the fashion industry in this film was like just awesome. You know, like just the and any type of fame, really. Any type of...
The short and long. I mean, we all know that, the short and long of this basically is how I described it is, you know, how Hollywood can be very vicious in itself and it, you know, how it can kind of, you know, chew you up and spit you out. And at one point in this film, it literally shows you that, right? Uh-huh. It displays that. And I think there's a lot of great contracts between the characters and how they relate to the metaphor and stuff. And I think it's one of those films that if you do watch it multiple times, I think you'll pick up more things and just try to dissect it a little bit more. Like Keanu Reeves' character in the film is actually, I heard one person say it was, his character was quite, disposable. And I was like, he's completely not disposable because if you look at what he's representing within the film and the metaphor, it's actually quite genius. Right. So, and I think a lot of the characters, everybody in this film has a place within that. So,
I mean, that film made 3 out of our 4 lists last year. It was my number 2, Derek's number 3, and I believe Moodz is number 6.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. It was good.
Yeah. So awesome. My turn? Yeah.
Last review of 2017.
Yeah, my last what we watched of 2017. Yeah. All right, so the last one here was from... Who the hell gave me this one? I'll check in a second, but it's from the year 2012. I think it's a WWE production, and it's titled No One Lives, which is a movie that I've never really heard of, honestly. So I was a little unsure of like...
It took me a little bit to check that one out too, because when I first saw the cover, I thought it was an action film.
It does look like an action film on the cover. That's what I was wondering too. I kind of put it off a little bit because I was like, I don't know, I just was like, action, you know, that's what I was thinking too. But yeah, so the No One Lives, who gave me this one? Fan of Eli. So Fan of Eli Roth, which I assume that's what that means. Gave me No One Lives, and No One Lives is kind of an interesting movie because it's a very unconventional plot, like about as unconventional as you can kind of get. Basically, it follows a gang of, I guess, criminals, you know, people who are going to like rob you and steal from you, and career criminals, people that are clearly make their living from illegal activities. And it seems like a lot of them are related, kind of like a little family almost. And basically, they come in contact with a wealthy couple traveling across the country. And this happens after they kind of fail at a job where they were robbing a house. So they're kind of, one of the characters is kind of in desperate need to kind of make it right. And they basically kidnap these people. And I'm going to go into the plot a little bit. This might be spoiler because it's like the first like twist of the movie, I guess. But it happens so early on. Essentially, the people who they mess with and kidnap are actually probably worse than the people that or the gang, that because this guy is, I don't really know what he is. He's just a badass. He's like basically they figure
he's
this
your
out
worst
by the
nightmare.
fact, yeah, they figure this out by the time that by the way that they the guy actually has a girl captive in his trunk. So it's like these bad people, it would be like if the strangers busted into the house and all of a sudden there was people tied up in the basement. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So it's all of a sudden the tables are turned, the roles are reversed, and now the criminals are the victims. Pretty interesting concept. The tagline is "Everyone runs, everyone hides, no one lives." Which I actually like how they incorporated the title into the film. Honestly, there's kind of a scene for that. But so this movie is good. I think it is good. I don't think it's great. I think that it has a little bit of problems in like the general probability of things that happen. Like the events that happen in the movie just seem very, very unlikely, especially as more and more the story unfolds. Like there's parts where people get away and they're gone and comes back, and it's just like it seems like just very, very improbable, and usually that type of movie annoys me a lot. But I really like the ragtag group of you know, criminals. Like the lead criminal, the one that's kind of the craziest, he was pretty cool. They had this big ass one. I assume he might have been a wrestler or something. I don't really follow wrestling, but I thought he might have been that. But since there's a W, Jeremy, do you know if there's any wrestlers in this movie?
What movie?
No One Lives.
Yeah, his name is Brodus Clay. He's not in the WWE anymore. He got fired like 2 years ago or something.
And he was the big guy?
Yeah.
Okay, see, you could just tell, man. Like I just had a feeling that he was probably...
Yeah, Brodus Clay.
So I don't know, man. Like it was cool. I actually kind of liked the ending, but I don't know. It was like I just couldn't love it. You know what I mean? It had its moments. There's some cool kills and stuff like that, but it just seemed like ridiculous. Like there's this dude like dangled above like what seems to be like a wood chipper or something. It just seemed like it was like too much. They just pushed it a little bit too far with like what this guy's capable of doing. Like I know you're trying to set him up as this guy that's like a perfect assassin type character, but it just, to me, it seemed a little much. And like, there's a scene where he actually slits his own throat to like prove a point, and I'm just like, I don't know about that, buddy. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It was all right. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
What did you think of it? I know you've seen it.
Oh, I think it's fun as hell, man. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nonsensical things that are happening in the film. I think it's a perfect example of a film that you kind of have to separate. You know, you just have to kind of put yourself out there. You know, like just separate reality from
accept the
some of the
world
events that are going.
Set.
Yeah, you got to take yourself out of the reality of things and kind of put yourself into that almost comic book ish type style. I mean, it is kind of ridiculous, but I think it's vicious. And when I watched the film, I didn't know like anything about it, so everything was a complete shock to me. Like the first twist in the film, I was like, oh god damn, right? And then it just it was fun. They kind of
set that twist up at the diner.
Yeah,
where he's like, the guy's like, oh, you're definitely not the type. I've seen the type. Trust me, I know the type, or something. And then he says the husband like says some sort of line like, if only he knew, or something like that. And I think that was like a hint towards the twist that this dude's probably not the greatest guy. But he was, I don't know, like I did like it. Like I liked it. I thought it was pretty vicious and stuff, but just certain things. Like I really liked some of the lines. Like there's one chick who's like dying and he's like, she's all like, I didn't do anything or something. He's like, well, I guess you're just unlucky then. And to me, like, that's like, I love stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun.
It was the best out of the 3 that I watched for Patreon, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it takes much to beat Slaughter Claus, though. Jesus, what a piece of trash that is. All right, so getting into my final pick here and final Patreon for the month of December. From 1974, directed by Jose Ramon Larraz, released by Mondo Macabro, called Symptoms. This was given to me by, who was it again? I think it was Mark Ledham. Yeah, I think that was who gave me this one. Yeah, man. So Jose Ramon Larraz, he's mostly known for directing Vampires, the film from 1974 also, which was released by, of course, Anchor Bay and Blue Underground and stuff. Pretty much his more famous film. He also directed Black Candles, which, if you've heard of that film, you've probably heard of one scene. It's very famous for having one completely off-the-wall fucked up scene in it, involving a goat. And he also directed a couple low-grade budget slashers in the later 80s under a pseudonym of Joseph Bronstein. He directed Rest in Pieces and Edge of the Axe. You guys probably heard those. Neither of them have like legit DVD releases and stuff, but Jose Ramon Larraz is actually a pretty interesting director. I think he was born in Spain and he moved to England. So his early films that he put out and directed were actually like English productions. So they were predominantly English cast and stuff, but he was, Spanish himself, which is pretty cool. This film, Symptoms, actually played at Cannes, I believe, in 1973 or something like that. He even says in an interview that he was shocked as hell that this movie even got selected to play, at Cannes, because these type of movies generally do not make their way there. This type of film, you just wouldn't see this type of film there. So he was very, very shocked. And, to no one's surprise, it kind of came and went. It got shown there and it just disappeared and went into obscurity. And, it never got released until Mondo Macabro released it. I think it was earlier this year or I think it was earlier this year is when the Blu-ray came out. So, which is very cool that they kind of rescued this one from obscurity, because given the content of the film, this is, these are the type of films that why I love companies like Mondo Macabro, because they find shit like this and put it out. I'm glad that there's still films out there that I haven't seen like this. So basically, the synopsis of the film is about, we follow our main character, Helen. She lives in this, English countryside in this huge motherfucking mansion, by herself. And so she invites her friend Anne to come and stay with her because she's lonely. She's simply lonely, and she just wants a companion to be around. Besides, she's got a caretaker at the house too, but she's got this very strange relationship with the caretaker. Like, this dude is an oddball himself, and we learn that Helen herself is also a little bit of an oddball. She has a history, like a mental history, which we are not fully disclosed in exactly what her problems were from the past, but we do know up front that she might be a little bit disturbed and stuff. So Anne comes to stay with her, and then things start to happen. That's the short and long of it. My thoughts on this one. So basically what we get here is we follow Helen, and it's like one of those kind of psychological horror films. It just plunges, we dig real deep into her psyche and things like that. And it's kind of one of those films where it plays on nightmares and reality. It's kind of one of those battles between nightmares and realities. It's a very, very slow burn film with beautiful imagery. I love this movie because the house, the location they shot in is just so damn perfect. I mean, it even comes equipped with an actual ghost, which is another really cool element to the film, because at first in this movie, you understand that Helen is a little bit disturbed, and she's very odd. Like, she's kind of one with nature, we learn right away. And she also has, this potential ghost in the house, and you're wondering if this person's real and stuff, which we do learn that, the person that's, this ghost was actually somebody from her past, which is another mysterious thing to the film. But I love the whole aesthetic of this film. It's fantastic. I mean, the outdoor locations is actually like a character in itself, which is pretty interesting. Which I don't want to get too much into that, but it plays off like it's a total character. The house is fantastic. It has this very dark, gothic feel to it, which doesn't go completely overboard. But there's not a lot of plot in this film. It's basically following two characters who are but they're kind of complex characters, because we're learning things about Helen, but we're not learning things about Helen, and we're also learning things about Anne, which we're also not learning things about Anne, if that makes any sense. There's like some lesbian undertones to the film, and there's some other like really interesting contrasts in the film too, between Helen and the caretaker, and also Anne and her boyfriend, and how there's like the lack of male characters in this film. There's a lot of things that are subtly going on in this film, in a film that doesn't have a lot of pushed up straight up plot in the film. This one runs, I think, something like just over 90 minutes, and for as slow paced as the film is, it's actually quite well paced, if that makes any sense. I was blown away by this one. I was intrigued the whole time. I'm kind of going, is this one going to play itself out the way you think it's going to? Because we're not given the information to Helen if she's actually crazy or if she's not and stuff. Something happens about close to the hour mark in this film, and I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. This is a really awesome psychological horror film. I think it's fucking awesome. I don't want to, relate it to any other films to kind of give away things and stuff, but I think this one was played out very, very well. It's got some interesting foreshadowing in the film, which is almost like trickery, the way they did it. I think it's fantastic, actually, the way they did it. You catch on to it towards the end of the film. It's a very dark psychological film with great performances, great locations, great music. And that's another thing that's really awesome about this film is the soundtrack plays off on Helen's psyche. As her character kind of progresses in the film, the soundtrack or the score actually progresses along with her condition, which I absolutely love that about the film. It's very, very well compiled and put together. I highly recommend Symptoms. If you have not seen this movie, you have to check it out. I'm glad that there's still films out there.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm very happy that there's still films out there that I haven't seen that are this fucking good.
Yeah, it's good.
And 9.5 out of 10. It's a fantastically executed film. I really, really loved it. Yeah, I'm glad that you like this one, Jeremy, because it's an intriguing film, isn't it? It's very intriguing. I think there's a lot of subtleties in this film, and you could dissect this one to shit. I mean, I think it would be a good one to actually do like a full review on, between three people, get interesting point of views and stuff. But
I haven't seen it since I got the review copy, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's just, it kind of floored me, man. It kind of floored me. I was like, wow, that's really fucking good. So good pick. So Symptoms from 1974.
A ghost, a devil, a poltergeist, Call it what you will. It lives, it breathes. You'll be paralyzed with fear as it kills and mutilates anyone in its path. A girl possessed, woman tormented by her psychic powers. Bloodbeat, a horrifying chain of inexplicable events. An evil presence seeking revenge, spilling blood, spreading terror.
Bloodbeat, a video from Thorny MI.
Oh yeah, getting into the featured reviews here on episode 126, Viewer's Choice Volume 6, Christmas Show, and 5th Annual Christmas Show, actually. 2017 edition. Probably fucked that up big time, but you guys get the gist of it. You guys picked these 3 films.
Sam actually picked one himself because he's a badass.
Sam is a badass. He's definitely a badass.
Sam Edwards. He's not a badass because the movie kind of sucks, but.
So I was a little bit disappointed again. It seems to be a recurring theme with these viewers' choice shows. But I guess that's what happens when we let the audience pick our shows. Not going to be 100% impressed, but I really wanted to do Don't Open Till Christmas. And I was
actually very happy with this year's choices. Like, the only reason that Better Watch Out was a little disappointing is because we just watched it and we have both done reviews on it. But had we not, it would have been a great pick. So, like, I was actually, and I've never seen Bloodbeat or Rare X Sports, so to me, I was actually happy with it. Much more happy than I was with the Halloween choices.
Yeah, it just came at odd time for me because I had just reviewed Bloodbeat during the 31 Days of Horror, and I also reviewed Better Watch Out. Also, so I was like, I wanted to kind of dig into some older ones, but whatever. Rare Exports is another film I reviewed, I think, a couple times. So, but all in all, let's get into this. First film from 1983, recently released by our good friends over at Vinegar Syndrome, who do just fantastic work and, putting out these real crappy, obscure films from every decade, basically.
I love Vinegar Syndrome, though, because, they do put out some crap, but every once in a while you get a gem that they put out, and it makes the crap worthwhile.
You know what? But, even with all the crap, though, I mean, they do such a damn good job with the releases. But the cool thing is that the crappy films that they do release, for the most part, are films that just haven't had any love. So that's cool. They're not just re-releasing a bunch of shit and stuff. And this is a great example of one film from 1983 called Bloodbeat. I don't think this movie actually came out in 1983. I think it was done in 1983 and it got its first home video release in 1988. So people knew this one.
God damn.
87 or 88, I think, is when it made its way to home video or something like that. So it appeared to be like a later 80s film, but it actually was from the early 80s. Quick little synopsis on this one. A woman who lives in deer hunting country in rural Wisconsin is possessed by the spirit of a Japanese samurai warrior.
I feel like only people know that because the director has said it a few times or something.
Exactly, because this is a perfect example of a film that it really doesn't give you much information about what you're seeing on screen. It seems like there's so much randomness to this film. So basically what we get in this movie is we're introduced to the mother who has a boyfriend who wants to marry her, kind of thing, and her kids.
The only good character.
Yeah, so her kids have come for the holidays. It's Christmas time, of course, and her son has brought his girlfriend along, for the holidays. And as soon as the girlfriend meets the mom, they have this really strange kind of telepathic bond. They can almost, communicate through ESP in a sense, but we're never given any information to why this is happening.
I had no idea that was actually what was happening.
You know what? I watched your review on YouTube that you had done on this film.
Yeah.
And I was like, where the fuck did you pick that up at? That they even had a psychic connection.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, but anyways, they have this really strange thing, and and it's not even explained at all to why this is happening and shit. And we're not actually given any information to the samurai warrior thing either. So basically these kids have shown up, and I don't know how this Japanese warrior is conjured up, but it has come alive somehow. Anyways, they're out hunting.
In Wisconsin?
Yeah, in Wisconsin. But anyways, he ends up killing this hunter, and then eventually, does some more killings throughout the film for random reasons. This is a very, very odd, obscure, strange slasher film.
Yeah.
Directed by Fabrice A. Zapriatos. He's French. He was a French director who was directing an American slasher film, and I don't know if like
you could even call it a slasher film.
I know. I'm not sure if like his script got lost in translation or something, because there's so many plot holes in this movie. It's actually laughable. This is one film that I could not stop fucking laughing the first time I watched it, because it's so weird. It is such a strange film. Okay.
It's an avant-garde, like, weird shit goes on in the middle of towards the end of the second act when the samurai comes to the house. It's like, what the fuck am I watching?
Well, I think the strangest thing to this film is, we're following these characters, and, they're semi-normal type characters and stuff. And the girlfriend's having a rough time. She's not feeling good, so she's up in her room. But even though she's not really doing that well, she still has time to flick her bean, to masturbate.
Yeah, to play with her cooter.
And every time she masturbates...
See, even that, I didn't even know was happening until I watched your video and you said that's what she was doing. I thought she was being possessed or something like Reagan.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what she was doing.
So, she was playing with her cooter.
It doesn't make any sense, though. So she starts, like, flicking her bean, and every time she does this, like, the samurai, like, appears and ends up killing somebody. So these killings are kind of linked to her orgasming, in a sense. It's so fucking obscurely odd why you would even write this into a script. It makes no sense whatsoever. And I don't know, man. This is such a fucking weird film, man. I don't know, man. I can't stop laughing about this.
Dude,
like,
some of the problem, like, okay, this movie is atrociously directed.
It is.
You
man.
have
really
such, like, an awkward scene to scene bait. Like, it is an awkward movie. Like, characters are pushed into the scenes, into the frames without any explanation of who they are. People are all over the place. You're here, you're there. You're, like, introduced to people who you did, like, I don't know who anybody is. Like, okay, it's a family.
I didn't know who the dude with the dog and the wife. Who the fuck was that?
Well, they're actually not really explained. They're just victims that the director obviously threw into the film. Yeah,
but
and that's
why do they have like 10 minutes of fucking airtime then?
I don't know. It's like, I love the dude makes me laugh though. He basically says, "Hey bitch, can you get me my tea?" And then she comes back with his tea, and he's like, "Hey, where's my orange juice?" But he never even asked for any orange juice.
He's like, "Woman, where's my orange?"
Shit made me laugh so hard, man. It's fucking stupid.
It's not even orange juice; it's fucking powder.
But yeah, man. So I mean,
fucking Tang.
There's not really a whole lot of things that are happening in this film until about the third act, when certain characters all of a sudden have these abilities to do things. I don't even know how to explain what they're doing.
And the glowing shit around them at the end of the movie, like, is shitty.
They have some
sword. It's the sword. Like,
but their hands are glowing too.
Yeah, like the effects are so
like
over
not
the top.
Centered, so it's like just kind of like, oh my god. Dude.
I know the neon coloring that they use to, it totally isn't, man. Like, there's a scene where the sword is like above it, and it's totally out of place.
Yeah.
It's out of sync with the effects and shit. It's so bad. But that's another unexplained thing. And all of a sudden, the kids have this ability to use these special powers at the end. And it's like such an oddball scene too, because the brother's kind of like holding his sister's hand, and then he's kind of looking at her, and all of a sudden they're able to do this shit. And I'm like, they're fighting the samurai with these powers that we don't even know they have. They didn't even know they have. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's just... This movie is such a mess. The script right from the start is just so incoherent. That's why I'm thinking, like, he wrote this in French and everything got lost in translation when they translated to English, and they're like, oh, this is what you want? You want a samurai warrior in the middle of rural Wisconsin? And that's the other fucked up thing about this movie that really kind of got me too, is it's set in Wisconsin at Christmas time. Where the fuck is the snow, man? There's gotta be snow on the ground. I mean, there's a little bit, but it has a spring feel. there's a scene where like you can see everything's kind of melting and shit. It has that spring feel, not Christmas feel.
Yeah, it was funny because I was watching this and I was like, where the fuck is the Christmas setting at? And then all of a sudden there's a tree in the background. And I was like, oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, dude, this movie is maddening. Like, I'm sitting there trying to pay attention to it. I'm like, okay, watching.
Try watching it on a shitty TV.
And then I'm like, okay, I need to rewind because I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay, what?
There's nothing
like,
to get. There's just nothing to get. I knew this was going to happen too with you guys. You guys would be like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, but it's so incoherent. There's really no
the best scene
structured
is the kitchen
narrative.
Earthquake.
The kitchen earthquake, yeah. Like, dude, I can't stand the son's girlfriend in this film. She's such a fucking annoying little cunt. Like when they're out hunting and the dude's ready to shoot that deer and then she like freaks out and she's like, no. I'm just like, fuck off, get the fuck out of here kind of shit, man. But dude, that brings me to the acting in this movie. Holy flying fuck, dude. The scene in the end where they are using their powers and shit, and actually the scene with the mom too. Holy Lord. Is that some of the worst acting that you guys have ever seen in a film? Like the way she's like, no, go away. Like that's her emotion. Like, no, don't do this. No. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like,
doesn't this feel like a movie that there was no script for and they were just like making it up as they went?
I think so. I think they improvised
like,
the whole
let's make this toothpaste bottle float in the air now.
Same with dialogue too, right? It's like, no. Don't. It's like, oh my god. Okay, explain this to me. I understand this was like the early 80s and, you know, aerobics and stuff were super hugely popular about this time in the 80s and shit, but what's with the daughter's outfit? She's wearing a long ass shirt, right? And then she's wearing these leggings. And that's it.
I'm just so surprised that you know that there's daughters and mothers and fathers and you know how these people are related to each other because I don't remember anything about anybody.
Dude, I've watched this movie twice in like the last 2 months, and the first time I watched, I was so engulfed in it. I was like, "This is the worst, best movie I think I've ever seen." It's so fucking bad. I was laughing to the whole thing. I'm like, I just couldn't get over how stupid and shitty
like
this movie was.
Memorized by when the crazy shit was happening.
I know.
Like, what the fuck's going on? Like
memorized or mesmerized?
You have to admit though that this is kind of it's such an oddity that even though things are completely not making sense and shit, like it was kind of entertaining. Were you guys not entertained by this though?
I have done a review for this movie. It hasn't come out yet though, and I did the word oddity that you just used. I used that in the review, and I do agree. It is an oddity. I wasn't overly entertained in it, honestly. I thought that I'm happy to have it because it is just such a weird thing that it even exists. Like I couldn't even imagine how this thing came about. So I actually I was like, the first thing I did after it was over is like, okay, I need some more explanation on what the fuck I just watched. So I went to the special features and there was an interview with the director that ran like 15 minutes or something like that. And I was like, okay, like this is going to clear some things up. And I start watching it and I'm like, what the? He's not even talking about anything. He's talking about how he likes comic books and stuff. And then his dad was apparently a director. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, what? And the only thing I got from the interview was that he made the movie. It has problems. He showed it at festivals and different fucking award things. Sometimes he won awards. Sometimes he didn't.
What the hell do you win awards for?
Sometimes people didn't. Oh, I don't fucking know. I'd like to see one of them. I'll tell you that. But
weirdest fucking movie ever made.
And this guy doesn't speak English, so it's like I feel like he directed this movie in his language. Whatever he speaks, I don't even know. And
French.
Yeah, and he's like, he doesn't talk about anything about what the hell happened in the movie.
I was going to watch this movie again with the commentary, and I just completely forgot until I was like halfway through, and I'm like, fuck, I totally should have watched it with the commentary just to get a little bit more insight into this.
Yeah, he talks about like the different screenings that and like for like distributors and things like that when it came out, and like I can't believe he's like, sometimes the audience loved it, and I'm like, what?
Sometimes
which audience loved this? Because now after 20 years you can look back, or 30 years, and you can look back and be like, oh, this was so bad it's good. But if this was a brand new movie that came out and you saw it at a festival, there's no way in hell you would love this.
Just like, where do you come up with the idea of setting the movie in rural Wisconsin and putting a Japanese samurai warrior?
You know what?
Into it? Like,
I did like the setting. Like, I actually, and the house. Like, I thought, okay, this is a cool place for a horror movie. Feels like do it yourself, like a shot on video style.
Yeah, I did feel.
And I was like, this could have been cool. But the problem, like, the editing is just so messy in this movie, and the like pacing and like the basic things that you need to make a cohesive film are just absolutely nowhere near this picture. It's completely done awfully in terms of like the basic fundamentals that you need to make a movie are non-existent in this movie.
See, they totally they missed the boat on it too. Like, they should have had, maybe the kids die in this one, and the stepdad, I guess I'll call him that, even though he's not technically married, but live. The fuck does that guy die in the film, man? He was like the only likable character in the movie. Like, totally missed the fucking ball on that one. That was bullshit. I actually felt bad for him when he fucking died. Spoiler alert, whatever. I don't care.
Did you see that there was a cut of Bloodbeat on here that is 28 minutes long?
Yeah, and it has like French, or has some kind of music.
Yeah, it's like
no dialogue.
And it's like
it's a silent version. Yeah.
I know. What the hell is that?
If I had more time this week, I would have gotten to those features and shit.
No, don't do that to yourself.
That one's not good either.
I don't know. I'm just saying, don't try it.
Man, you really hate this movie, JP. At least it has some entertaining value.
Awful. This is an awful movie.
Dude, it is, but it has some entertaining
I completely admit this movie is atrocious on all levels of, filmmaking specs. But man, I don't know what it is. Even watching it the second time, it was making me laugh. I'm like, I was just so dumbfounded by how this movie was constructed. Like, the flicking the bean thing still is killing me, man. It's one thing you'll never...
You could even tell that that's what she was doing without somebody telling you.
I knew that's what she was doing.
She was just playing with the pussy.
Literally, we were watching it, and I was like, is she masturbating? I can't tell.
But you do it every night, so how do you not know?
Yeah, dude.
What, masturbate?
No, flick your bean.
Who, me?
Flick your bean.
I don't have a bean.
Yeah, you do.
Flick.
Yeah, you do. That was awesome. I don't know, man. This one is...
your clit. You have one.
I even said in my review, I said, man, this is a bad movie, but I recommend it that you check it out if you're into these type of films, because you have to see this at least once, because it's so different than anything, really ever. I've never seen another, slasher, quote unquote, film like this before. It's just so strange. All right. I'm glad I saw it, though. I'm glad that Vinegar Syndrome did its justice and shit. So
let's get into ratings. I'll go first. So I watched this movie. I even popped it in a second time because I felt like, okay, maybe I just wasn't paying attention or something. No, that is 100% not true. It is just an awful, badly made movie. I did say, and in this review that posts, it's a video on YouTube or whatever, you guys could check it out. It'll actually probably come out before this podcast, unfortunately, just due to timing. But I literally said, I'm happy I own this. I'm glad I have it. I love Vinegar Syndrome for putting it out. I think that is super cool. I think that it has funny moments, and it is a perfect movie to show a few people, it's like one of those party type movies, a bad movie or whatever. Critically, it is a terrible movie. It's so bad. And I'm coming in at a 1.5 out of 10. It's awful.
Damn.
I had a 3. I gave it a 3.
Well, I'll just stick with my video rating. I remember it. I gave it 3.5. But, it is what it is, man.
So, does that make Pain?
That's 6.5. Yeah, it does. That's 6.5, 7, 8. 8 total.
All right, so it makes it by 1.5. Bloodbeat. We needed a new Hall of Painter. I'm glad you can join the other atrocities in the Hall of Pain.
Such as
the one and only Bruce Payne. Oh, boy, man.
It's been a while since we've had one, but...
I honestly wish there would have been... I don't even know how you're going to watch it. I was curious about the commentary because the guy doesn't speak English, or at least that interview wasn't, so... I don't know. Is the commentary in French? I don't know. Because I wanted to check it out too, but unfortunately, I had no time. Like, I was crunching time to even get everything watched.
I was actually curious about that too. I wasn't sure. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll throw it on. Just maybe not listen to the whole thing, but find out.
This release could have benefited from some goddamn explanation from Mr. Zafiratos. Because, like, Jesus, man, what did you make? I want to know what, like, I want to know. Like, I truly do want to know, like, what you were thinking, like, what this means. Like you have to look at this and be like,
I think it's a lost in translation.
In my head.
I think it's just one of those lost in translation things. He's a French director. He had a visual for it, and it just.
How did he get this movie made?
I think his idea just didn't translate. It just didn't translate into English very well, and it came out like this.
I just want to know, like, where he got, like, was there funding? Like, how much was the budget? Like,
flicking beans
cast?
and
Like, I want to know
warriors.
all of these things. Damn it!
Flick your bean.
Flicking beans and samurai story. That's probably how he sold it to the. So I got this chick who flicks her bean, and then a warrior goes and kills people. Fuck, you can't. Oh my god, that's just, you can't duplicate that shit, man. You can't duplicate that.
If I would have came in above a 3, this shit wouldn't even have made the Hall of Pain, and that would have been atrocious. A travesty. I keep saying atrocious. Atrocious is on my mind tonight.
I knew that. I knew that shit was gonna make the Hall of Pain.
We finally found something else than just plain rocks and dirt.
This mountain is like a giant icebox.
Storing what?
We are standing on the biggest burial mound in the world. Tänne on haudattu jotain.
Juuso! Oota! Joulupukki on haudattu!
All right, moving along here into the glorious year of 2010 with a film from Finland titled Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. Yeah. This movie was actually based on...
The most Christmas movie out of the 3.
Yeah, man. This movie right here was actually based on a short.
It is.
The most Christmas movie?
Christmas themey movie out of the 3. It has the most Christmas feel out of the 3.
Yeah, this one's not just set on Christmas. I mean, it's actually like about Christmas. So, but anyways, yeah, this movie right here is actually based on a short. Do either of you guys have the DVD or Blu-ray of this movie?
No, I watched this on Amazon.
I have the DVD, but I wanted to watch it in HD, so I watched it on Prime.
Okay, so have you checked out the shorts that this movie's based on?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay,
before,
I've
seen them before this movie came out, I think.
Okay, so yeah, in 2003 they did a short for Rare Exports, and it basically just kind of shows, it's like a prequel. It shows the hunters and how they capture these things and then eventually kind of sell them off and stuff. So that short actually became like super popular back in 2003, and then they followed it up in 2005 with another short that ran about 10 minutes. The first one was about 7 minutes. And this one was like an instructional video for your little Santa Clauses, and it's so entertaining.
It used to be on YouTube. Last time I checked, they weren't on there anymore.
I actually checked today, and I don't think they're there. So, but that's unfortunate because these are pretty cool, and this one is it's a cool little follow up because it's like an instruction video on how to train these things and what to do and what not to do and things like that. And it's very, very well done and very cool. And the cool thing about these shorts is that they actually have the same cast, like Petrie. He's actually not in the first one, but he's in the second one, and he's obviously way younger. And it's pretty cool to see because he's probably like 4 years old in that one. And, of course, this movie came out 5 years later. Now he's, the 10, 11-year-old boy that he's in the Rare Exports, which is kind of cool to see. I like how it's actually the same cast and shit. So, but getting into a quick little synopsis of Rare Exports, in the depths of the Kvortuturi Mountains, 486 meters deep, lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. So, essentially what we get in the beginning of this film, we get 2 little boys that are kind of spying on this excavation. This company is excavating something.
Oh, this dude.
Yeah, this dude's running this company or whatever, and they're digging something up, and essentially they kind of release something also. So they live in like very, very rural Finland, and their main food source is, you know, the reindeer that's going to be coming, you know, during this time, right? And so they're preparing to you know, to get their meat. And
I didn't get that. Okay, so they're building a fence. Like, is the way you hunt reindeers, they just run into your fence?
I guess so. I've never hunted reindeer
Like,
before.
electrocutes them.
I was like, wait, they're not hunting them?
No,
They're
I
not
think what they do is like
shooting them?
they get them trapped in the fence.
Yeah, but how do they know? How do they lead? Like how? Because from my assumption is this giant pack of reindeer is supposed to just walk into this fence.
Yeah,
And
essentially.
I'm like, reindeer pack together? Do they like? Are they? Because like if they're similar to regular deer, they don't pack that much.
No, they're not. They run in herds. They're not.
Do
like
they really?
reindeer.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. They're waiting for their animals to come up, and so they can trap them, and then, you know, but they don't show up. So they go over this. They go over this hill, and they've been like completely slaughtered. So now they're like, holy fuck, like what the hell happened? They kind of learn that something was excavated and something may be responsible for all this. And then it's kind of your film right there. So what's your guys' thoughts on this one?
I love like the atmosphere they set up. I love the concept of it.
Yeah. Not enough Santa.
What?
Not enough Santa.
Not enough anything. It's my biggest problem.
No,
there's not enough to this film. It was good as a short, and it has potential to be extended out into a feature film. Unfortunately, there's not enough in this film. There really, really isn't. They barely scratched the surface of this concept.
Like how so? I think they did actually pretty cool.
Because all that happens is these things show up, and then they have one captured. There's no threat, really. And then they try to give it to somebody else.
It's not about it, though, because so basically what happens is, you know, their ideas, you know, to fill their freezers and you know, sell off the hides and shit like that. So, you know, this time of year is their big money time of the year and stuff. So now they feel like they've been cheated out of, you know, whatever the $85,000 that they're owed. So they come up with this plan that they think that they've captured Santa Claus, but it's actually like one of the elves. So
that's the twist in the movie.
Yeah, so they basically get this idea that, you know, they're going to sell them back to this corporation that, you know, kind of did this wrong to them. I like that concept though. I mean,
but there's nothing to it though. It just happens so fast. You know what I mean? There's no it's like that would be okay if that was the plot, and then there's like some problems with what happens, but that's quite literally what happens. You know what I mean? It's like, I just feel like this movie doesn't have much to it. Like, it has cool ideas, but there's no that, like, even the idea of these fierce things that can kill you, you know, these elves or the Santa Claus or whatever, it's not expanded upon. They capture one very easily. They hold it in a cage. It looks so creepy and scary. Mm-hmm. That should be half of your movie right there. Is fighting those things.
But they do fight them though.
When?
But they're not
2 minutes at the end.
But they don't want to be fighting those things anyways. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. You want a main conflict between those elves and you know, the actual people. That makes complete sense to have that type of vibe or that type of thing going on, but it's not what they are about. I mean, they took a totally different approach to this, you know, and they wanted to use these things to get, you know. But
why can't you use them?
I like that angle.
Why can't you use them, but them also be a threat to your life?
I mean,
do you ever feel like the elves
just like look at Tremors, right?
Do you ever feel like the elves are
they want to capture them so they can sell them too, but they're also trying to kill them. You know what I mean?
I know, but the thing is, though, the elves were never a threat unless they were kids. I mean, it's said in the folklore
but they don't even expand on that much. Like, okay, why do we not see them capture any of the kids? That could have been some cool, creepy scenes right there, sneaking up to the window or something like that. It's just like all of a sudden they're all in the bags. Like, it's like there's so much missing out of this movie that it was a frustrating watch a little bit. Like, because I love the concept that Santa Claus, when he's dressed up, the elf when he's dressed up as the Santa Claus, fucking scary as F, dude.
That's actually one of the problems I've always had with this film too, is the fact that they do not show them actually, you know, abducting the kids.
Yeah,
that was one thing that
turn them into.
I thought that was a little bit of a kind of a miss, but
they turn into fucking scarecrows or what?
The what?
The kids. What the fuck are they? Is that just supposed to be like their skeletons when they open up the bed? Oh, never mind. I'm stupid.
It's like, what the fuck? But
it's just a dummy.
Yeah, I actually like the approach that they took to this, man. I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but you know, kind of what it turns into and what Rare exports is.
It's not that I don't like the approach of the concept of the movie, where you have, you know, these things that like the true Santa Claus, you know, these mystical creatures that they buried away a long time ago that get released. It's just there's no threat in the movie. It's just like so basic. They capture one and they try to sell it to this guy, and then it's like kind of over. And it's like there was so much more to do with the mythology of these things. Mm-hmm. And tell me that it's not a cop out that we never see the Santa. You know what I mean?
I mean that should, I think, in my opinion, and I think I've said this before, that the conflict should have been between, you know, Krampus and, you know, them. That would have made a little bit more sense, because having the elves with the main conflict, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense with the adults.
It would if it's like, okay, these elves are the biggest problem. Like we're outnumbered. There's where, you know, our children are being taken. Like, fight for it should have been the parents trying to save the children and the kids being the heroes, because like a Goonies type situation, right?
Well, it makes sense,
because they kind of set it up like that a little bit, where it's the story of the kids and it's this adventure type.
Well,
thing.
essentially, Petrie is essentially the hero.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so you have these elves, right? These things. These are the main problem, right? And then the twist at the end is, oh, you think you had it hard with those things? Well, check out this motherfucking thing, and then that be the grand final. You know what I mean? It was like, and then even like, okay, so like, what happens, right? What happens in this movie?
Well,
like describe the movie. Like, okay, so
there's two kids.
They find out about these things. They capture one and they try to sell it. That is what happens in the movie. What else is there?
Nothing really. I mean, they basically just kind of expand upon
mic working?
What Rare Exports actually is, and it's these, you know, these elves that they've turned into basically Santa Clauses. You know,
but they don't even expand on that. It's a quick 2-minute scene at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like even the company.
I mean, I get that.
The biggest problem that I had with it, like, it was just like why do the elves trust them now? All of a sudden, that Santa Claus is not there anymore. It's fucking stupid.
Well, it's because they're kind of controlled by Krampus, right?
You get an idea that they tamed them. That's the idea. Like, how do you tame any wild animal?
Well,
that's essentially
it's even shown in the
wild animals.
Why didn't they tame them before when they were fucking going crazy?
See, this is where like watching the shorts would have been handy, because you know you get to see the prequels and actually how they train these things and stuff and what they did. So if you watch those and you watch the film, some of the things within the film actually make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, like the whole like the it's like this is like a goddamn prequel to the main movie.
Actually, here's one thing. Here's one thing that I just thought of. The whole gingerbread thing. I don't know if you guys remember this from the film, but when they throw the gingerbread out there, they get kind of preoccupied and they eat the gingerbread. That's actually in the rules in one of the shorts.
Cookies. Yeah, Santa's cookies.
It's like a little soft spot for them. So if you if you give them gingerbread,
I like all that stuff. It's great. I wish there was more of it. Honestly, there's so much stuff you could have done with this movie.
I get it.
And I was a huge fan of the shorts. I loved the shorts. They were some of my favorite shorts ever.
Yeah,
and I've
really
always wanted to see this movie, because I was like, if this is more of that, I'm gonna love it. And that's not saying I didn't like this movie. I actually really like this movie, but I just feel like this story has so much more potential for a $2.2 million movie. I feel like they wasted a lot of the time and effort in this movie with stuff that truly really didn't matter in the end. Like, I think that set up the characters that they're hungry and their backs against the wall and they have to go after these things. What they capture one with such ease. It's literally just there, and then next thing you know, they have it in a suit.
Well, you know what I mean, honestly, dude, I mean, he catches them pretty easy, because I mean, that was one of those fucking what do they call them, wolf traps or whatever. I mean, shit, dude. I mean, you can't get out of that situation. I mean,
but when they have it in the house and stuff, or in the
my only question is, I guess that elf or whatever was why he was on the property in the first place was maybe he was coming after the kid.
Yeah, that's what they do. They go get the kids.
No.
All the ones that haven't been washing behind their ears and stuff. You know what I mean? And I like that.
I just want to know how that kid wasn't freezing his balls off when he ran outside in his underwear when it's like fucking probably 20 degrees below.
He lives in the mountains of Finland. He's probably used to the cold, man. He's super weathered, I guess. But
I mean, man, I was like,
I get your points. I get your points. I mean, I never really thought of it needing more conflict, but like I always said,
it just needs anything else. There's
I always thought that
nothing fucking happens in this movie, man. It pisses me off.
I always thought that it would have been cool, to have a battle with the Krampus because he's also protecting his elves and vice versa.
And
type
especially
thing, right?
since they show it, defrosting.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah. I mean, it would make more sense. I mean, that was the main, the third act conflict with Krampus and, obviously our hunters. That would have made a little bit more sense. They kill him like that, and then all of a sudden, the elves are under their kind of.
In this movie is starvation. That is the primary conflict.
Yeah,
it's not
of course.
The elves. They don't even very much like go into
it's their whole life.
All
their whole year depends on those reindeer. Right, and
which is a problem if that's the main point of this movie.
I don't think it's a problem. I mean, that's the location. That's where they live and stuff. That comes with their literally.
Yeah,
their
that should be a secondary plot device, not the primary story.
I don't really have any problem with it. I actually kind of like it, man. I mean, it leads to this really heartfelt scene where Petrie and his dad are, at the table, and all they have to eat is gingerbread. And his dad's holding back the tears.
Yeah, that's a great scene. But I'm saying you have the movie should be about the rare exports, the stuff that they find. It shouldn't, and this should be a reason why they are going after these things or that they're trying to sell them. And it is, but it's just there's no grand plot element. There's no grand threat besides the fact that they're just hungry, which is could be a different movie. That could be a survival movie or whatever. It should be secondary in a movie like this because you have this mythical fucking creature that the movie is supposed to be centered around. And I think that there was some cool stuff. I like that they were stealing all the heating things and things like that.
Yeah, the blow dryers.
The
radiators
or whatever.
Well, blow dryers are expensive.
But the location is beautiful, the mountains, stuff like that. How did they know that one of these elf things were worth $85,000 or whatever?
No, I don't think he just needed the money to recoup from the reindeer that were slaughtered.
That's literally why.
I thought he asked, "What is it worth to the guy?" And the guy said,
"No." He's like, "Oh, how much should we ask him for?" He's like, "How much are the reindeers?"
Yeah, he was like, "Man, we just lost 85,000." He's like, "Well, let's get 85,000 for him." Yeah. You know, it's actually kind of interesting. The guy that owns the company that's doing the excavation, that guy is totally a Scrooge character. He's 100%. He even looks like Scrooge. He's got those same fucking glasses and everything. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and clearly this guy knows the mythology of these creatures.
Exactly, and he doesn't give a shit, man. Right?
Which is cool.
Yeah,
but. I don't know, man. It was missing too much for me. I was really disappointed with it. I think the shorts are more interesting than the movie.
Yeah, I've never really, I never thought of it. I guess if you were expecting something else from it and you didn't get it, of course you're gonna be a little bit more disappointed.
I was expecting something from it. Is the problem?
You didn't get anything from it?
I watched this movie.
I like the movie. I'm just saying that its biggest fatal flaw is that it doesn't have enough in it. It could have been a short. It could have been a 30-minute short. It 100% could have. There's no reason that it needed to be this long. They don't go into anything else. They don't go into anything more than they did with the shorts, dude. What did they do differently? What did they do more of that makes this different than the shorts?
Not really a whole lot. It's like an extension of it, but I think it plays out quite well. I mean, I understand. I wish there was a little bit of conflict with the Krampus character. That would have been it would actually made sense. That's your third act finale. You have this battle with him. You kill him. You take his elves, and then you sell them off.
But there's not even
exports.
conflict with the elves either. But there's not even conflict with the businessmen. The people the conflict and resolution is that they lost their food. and then they get it back in the end. And the elf things are just secondary.
I mean, that thing is kind of set up like that from the original short. I mean, they show them hunting, they show them capturing these things, and then they show them selling off. I mean, it's essentially
which
what
they
we get
don't do in this movie.
No.
They don't even hunt.
No.
They don't even hunt it.
You see them putting them in crates.
Well, I mean, they showed it differently in this. I mean, essentially, they didn't know what they were going to capture, but they ended up capturing one by accident kind of thing, so...
Yeah, which is cool, but then the others should have came and it been more of like a damn story, man. I don't know, dude. This was incredibly disappointing. I still think it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. You'll probably be surprised at my rating because I do think that it's a good movie. But it is one of the biggest missed opportunities I've seen in recent memory.
I mean, I respect that. I mean, if you're looking for something else you didn't get it, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I watched this movie before I seen the shorts, right? So I'd never seen the shorts before I got this. I bought this movie when it first came out in 2010, and I watched the movie and then watched the shorts after. So I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. So what I watched and what I got was kind of this, just this kind of
basic ass movie.
Well, it was definitely not what I was. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much. I was expecting it to be a little bit different, but I still really enjoyed it, though. I mean, I do agree it's missing a little bit of conflict with the Krampus character. I think that's where it should have came from, but that's definitely missed opportunity. Probably budget
it's missing
constraints.
Conflict with anybody, though, right? It doesn't have conflict.
I mean, it theoretically does on the inside.
The kid has conflict against trying to prove to his dad that Santa exists. That's the conflict.
But basic
the conflict
storytelling, right? There needs to be a conflict, like a main point to the movie, a main problem that characters must overcome.
Well, I think the conflict is between the hunters.
Isn't that these elves have invaded their place?
No, it's about the hunters.
This Krampus. It's just that they just so happen this company accidentally wiped out their food source, and now they're hungry.
The conflict.
They
it's
don't
the
even
hunters
go into
versus
it that much either, because that's not even the main point of the movie. Because you don't see the struggle. You see one scene, which is a good scene. But and even then, it's basic.
I think it's shown beautifully. Actually, I mean, you don't really need to. I mean, it's so there. It's so up front that I don't think you need to show more of it because you understand the severity of not having that food source.
And all that happens in like the first 16 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, you understand what it is. I mean, like I said, the main conflict in this film is the hunters versus the corporation. That's essentially what it is. I mean, if it's not enough for you, that's totally fine.
Though. It's not, because they don't. There's not even a big conflict with them. It's literally a 2-second scene where they bring the thing to him. He's
straight
like,
up.
That's not Santa. And then they're like, they get it kind of attacked by elves.
I mean, if you're looking at these characters too, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're the type of characters that are gonna, go on a fucking warpath. Also, I mean, these guys seem pretty chill, pretty level-headed. I mean, they just want what they feel they're owed, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that approach is very subtle. It's very kind of soft. But I mean, I get where you're coming from. I don't agree. I actually like the film the way it is. Jeremy, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I agree with JP. Actually, that's why I said when we were first talking, like, so they capture the elves and they put them in the crates, and then what? And then as JP was like talking, like, oh, they don't really explain too much, like Santa Claus. Like, what the fuck is Santa Claus? We see him for like 2 seconds in a block of ice, and that's the end of that. Like, I think the story is more about the elves than it is fucking Santa Claus, and that's kind of stupid to me in a movie that's called Rare Exports and has fucking Santa Claus on the cover.
Well, no, the Rare Exports is what it turns into. It's completely about
which would be nice. Which would be nice if the movie actually had a little bit more to do with that too.
Like, oh, seeing somebody get an elf and be like, oh, this is what they're doing. It's like, oh, they train them a little bit. You see that for like a minute, and then they put them in the crate and they send them off. And it's like, oh, then where do they go?
The idea is that these are the Santa. They're going to
be
these are the Santa Clauses that we see all over the world. They're the Rare Exports.
And they're worth a ton of money.
And this is the origin. It's
fantasy. Fantasy.
This is the origin of where these things come from.
Yeah.
So it's telling like this origin story.
I don't know. Maybe the narrative needs to be.
It needs to be fleshed out more. I don't think so. I love it. Mythology. You have fantastic foundation for this film with the mythology that you create, but you don't do much with it. All you do is show the elves. You show an ice block of the Krampus or the Santa, the real one, which, by the way, doesn't make much sense. If that's Santa, then why are these rare exports becoming Santas? You know what I mean? Because they don't look anything like that. You get what I'm saying?
What, they don't look like the Krampus?
Yeah, because he's saying that is Santa, but it's like, okay, so the elves that you're stealing and
well, I think to the rest of the world,
I
think the average Santa Claus looks like what they were distributing was, these old, kind of hairy guys and shit like that. I mean, when you ask an average kid what Santa Claus, they don't think of Krampus.
Dude, it would have been so creepy. Like those things are creepy, man. Like if you made this a little more of a horror film, and these things were actually what are like a couple scenes of them like outside of windows and snatching these kids up and eating them or whatever the hell they're gonna do with them. You know what I mean? The whole concept.
I agree
that these things are going after bad kids, finding out what the kids did, what's bad, what stops them, the milk, the chimneys, all this stuff. Like there's so much that you could have done with this film,
but they didn't, and this is what we have.
And it is unfortunate, but I've said my piece on it. I think it's a good movie, but a huge missed opportunity. You guys want to get into ratings? I don't know. You got more to say?
No, I don't got anything else to say.
Jeremy?
7.5.
Moodz?
8.5.
I'm coming in, funny enough, and I told you guys, I like this movie. It's a well-made movie aesthetically. It's very pleasing to the eye. The locations are beautiful. The Santa Claus or the elves are absolutely creepy. The acting is great. You have a great relationship between this father and son. You have like this almost coming-of-age narrative at a point. I just feel like that the meat of this movie was just ignored, which hurts it, but it doesn't kill it. And I'm coming in at a 7.5 out of 10, same as Jeremy.
All right, sounds good.
Want to put her in the mood? Watch a horror movie.
Dude, she's like twice our age. I really don't think it's gonna happen.
She's here.
You are breathtaking.
Thank you. Now don't stay up and watch scary movies, okay? It'll give you nightmares again.
So what do you want to do?
Ricky, why can't you just leave me alone?
He's such a jerk.
Don't hang up on me.
What was that? Oh my god.
Get away from the window.
There's someone there.
Moving along into the year 2016.
Our spoiler review.
Yes, this is going to be a spoiler not free. We're going to be spoiling this one because we've talked about this one uncut, and there's just no point in doing that again. So, If you haven't seen this one, shut the fucking cast off now.
It's available on Shudder. Check it out.
Yeah. 2016, released 2017. Better watch out. So, directed by Chris Peckover.
This is yet another Well Go USA. Is it me, or is Well Go USA actually becoming like
they're kind of a sleeper
company for top 10 films of the year?
Yeah,
like they put out Train to Busan, which was your number 1 of last year. The Wailing, which was my number 10 or my number 9. Like they do a good job with the films they pick up.
I agree actually.
They're coming into their own.
They release, mostly like action stuff, but they release a lot of foreign goodness.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese stuff.
They've been releasing a lot of horror too lately, though.
Yeah, they have been. Actually.
Like before, they were primarily action and like Japan and South Korean different stuff like that. But this year, they've released a lot more of the horror and stuff like that titles in the last 2 years.
All right, better watch out. On a quiet suburban street, a babysitter must defend a 12-year-old boy from intruders, only to discover it's far from a normal home invasion.
I only have one problem with this movie. Only one.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking ending.
I said that before too.
I know, but I'm giving my opinion on it now. Why couldn't they come up with a better fucking ending? For love's sake, I was grinning throughout this entire fucking movie. I was having such a fun time, and then that fucking ending. Come on.
So what exactly do you not like about it?
How predictable can it fucking be? Of course she isn't dead. Of course she's still going to be alive. It's just so goddamn.
I don't know, man, because I was thinking about it too.
Bullshit.
I was thinking about it too, and I was like, okay, well, everybody is going to expect that, she's going to be alive, or everybody's going to expect that she's going to be dead.
No, I never thought she was dead for 1 second.
No.
But a lot of people would, though, because they would think that the predictable ending would be for her to be alive, so they're going to do
what's the predictable ending?
But do you not think like that sometimes? It's like, well, the predictable ending is going to be for her to be alive, so they're going to try to go unpredictable, which then becomes predictable.
Like the film's so unpredictable and refreshing, and then it's like they just have to fucking ruin it with a shitty fucking ending.
They do a good job in this film of
it's not a shitty ending, dude. Predictable and shitty are two different things.
It's just blah, though.
They do a good job in this film of actually covering their tracks within the story, because for a lot of the film, there's one scene in this film where you don't exactly know how the fuck they did it until they finally show the catapult towards the end of the film, the scene with the brick, how it goes through the window, right? Throughout most of the film, you're kind of going, how in the fuck did that brick get through the window? And then you finally get shown this catapult type thing. But I do like, towards the end of the movie when they actually show him cleaning up, getting rid of the catapult and getting rid of this.
I like that.
I like that in the film because, it's showing that they put a lot of thought into it and stuff. But which brings me into the ending, which the problem I had with the ending was, it's going to happen where he's not going to be able to put the pencil back on the door. So he's going to have to make an alternate route back into his room, which obviously is going through the window that leads out into the roof so he can go around into his room. I mean,
why the fuck was this window open?
There's a major problem there, though. I mean, if he's really trying to get away with everything here, you're leaving tracks on the roof. I mean, the police are obviously going to investigate and look at every angle here. They're going to see those tracks leading right back into your room.
But the problem, the reason why that does not matter is
he could say he was just running away.
Do you think this kid is actually going to get away with this?
No.
Right? Just because he's 12. He is a genius for what he did come up with.
Well, I'm just saying because a lot of the things that he's doing are actually quite impressive for his age. I'm just saying that there is kind of a minor thing where it's like, well, obviously they're going to find those tracks they're going to lead, but Jeremy,
there's probably going to be tons of forensic evidence this person didn't die before this person. That doesn't make sense. So I mean,
obviously.
But the whole concept of this movie is that it's a deranged kid and he's just went through this thing. So it's it doesn't really matter if he messed some stuff up because he's 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can use that argument. That's great. But the main problem I do have with this, though, is when he gets into bed and he finally gets in there and, he turns on his little fucking sonogram thing, which is totally fucked up that he still uses that shit. He's 12 years old. That makes no sense to me. When he takes the sleeping pill, because he knows he has to get that into his system. How in the fuck is he awake 10 minutes later? That shit works.
Because have you ever took sleeping pills?
No. But
SJP, he's a pro. He can drink a whole bottle.
But I've seen awake on sleeping pills. You can wake up and then be awake, and you can not go to sleep ever on a sleeping pill if you want.
Well, I've seen people have taken them before, and I've seen people out within 10 minutes, and they're fucking out for a while.
Those are probably super strong, fucking Seroquel or something.
So that was just one of the problems I had, though, is he takes this pill, but then he's whatever the timeline is, 10, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, I don't know.
Well, even sometimes it can take a half hour to an hour to really put you asleep.
These are the things that the average person wouldn't know. But I mean, if you're taking it for face value, the kid takes a sleeping pill. They generally. I mean, when I take NyQuil, dude, I'm fucking out in 10 minutes, man. That shit knocks me on my ass.
On the show.
Yeah, I know. You're an anomaly. That's fucked up, dude. Drinking NyQuil while we're recording is pretty wild in itself. But I'm one of those people, though, man. When I take a T3, the codeine fucks me up. I can drink 30 beer. I have one T3 and I'm fucking on my ass, dude. I'm higher than shit. I can't even drive. So NyQuil does the same thing to me, man. It fucking destroys me. So I look at it from my point of view. I'm like, man, if I took a sleeping pill, I would have been out snoring, like unconscious. I would have never been standing in that window getting fingered by her at the end, kind of thing. Not finger fucked.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's highly believable that he could have took this and not been asleep.
I mean, I guess it is, but I mean, just the way you have to see where I'm coming from, because just from personal experience, right? Like, I would just assume that shit would knock you right on your fucking ass.
It's probably a super low milligram too. He's 12. Like, typically 12-year-olds aren't supposed to have sleeping pills to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's probably something super
JP
basic.
knows he's a drug addict.
But I do know a lot of about drugs. I do.
But going back, you know, since we started at the end of the film, we just jumped right into the spoilers. But yeah, you know, this one, it's, you know, rewatching it. Like, how did you feel upon rewatching this film, JP? You know, knowing when the twist is coming, because now you're watching the dialogue and how things are kind of playing themselves out. Does it change your opinion and views on the film? Knowing, because I mean, this is one of those films where I think it works so much better as a one-time watch. You know, you watch it a second time and then you kind of go, oh, okay. You know, that seems a little bit silly. You see it coming and it's just, you can't take it back, right? You know, you just know it's coming. So, so rewatching, it didn't really hurt the film a whole lot for me, but it is interesting knowing everything and then watching how it plays out. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, because like, one thing that I noticed this time while watching it is they actually referenced the paint can thing way before they do it, which I thought was kind of cool.
You know what, dude?
I didn't notice that the first time.
You know what? I actually fucking noted that too, man. When they're in the bedroom and they were talking about the paint can.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the film.
That it would kill in the movie. They were obviously referencing Home Alone. That it would have killed the crooks.
Yeah, because they're actually arguing. He's like, no, that thing, you know, the one kid he's arguing, he's like, no, it wouldn't do bad. And he's like, no, it would kill him. And then they kind of leave it. It's a very subtle conversation, but then it plays into that part where oh, fuck, you're going to Home Alone him? Like when he's like, oh, you're going to fucking Home Alone him?
See,
that's a great line, man.
I really like I don't have a huge problem with the ending at all, because sometimes it doesn't matter if the ending is a positive ending, because to me the whole film was so brutal and raw that I'm like, if they wanted to end it like that, they could have. But guess what? I think they like the character that the girl was, and it would have been very mean-spirited to end it with her actually dying and him getting away. I think that just changes the dynamic of this.
The whole movie is mean-spirited.
I know. So it's like too much mean-spirited can kind of just this whole movie would have been a different type.
I actually kind of disagree though, man, because like, yeah, this whole film is super calculated. It's super mean spirited. It's super, it's very psychotic. It's very psychotic, but you know, they even play, you know, within dialogue that, you know, this character, what's his fucking name again? I'm so bad with names. What's the main character's name? Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he's, you know, he's not a sociopath. You know, they even allude to the fact that he's not a sociopath. Like, he actually has feelings. So even though he's doing this shit, it's more of a game and stuff. I like that was very subtle in the film, because they bring up the conversation about how he'd killed his friend's hamster, and when he told the babysitter, when he told Ashley about it, and he actually cried and stuff. I like that they threw that into the film, because it actually gave
that's usually
his
how
character.
It starts with serial killers, right?
Well, I mean,
yeah, but I mean, it also could have been that he did that for attention back then. That's what's so multi-layered about this character, is you never quite know for sure if he's being genuine or if he's being manipulative.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the way I took it was, you know, it's kind of showcasing it.
But he clearly has emotion when he kills his friend. Clearly.
That's my point. And yeah, so there definitely is. He's a very dynamic character. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but he's definitely not a sociopath, because they allude to that. And he fucking freaks out. He does not want to kill his friend. He does.
Did you see the final line in the film? It's like slightly after the credits.
Yeah, when she goes to the hospital. Mom, can we go visit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Can we go visit Ashley?" Which I think kind of leaves it open ended enough to where he could kill her. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. He wants to go there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it would have been the wrong choice to end it the way that Jeremy would have. And I am usually 100% for downbeat endings. I just don't think this is the type of movie for it. I think that girl
I didn't say that she should have died. I just wish it was not a predictable ending.
I actually agree. I actually see this movie being so dark and twisted throughout the whole thing.
But the whole movie was so unpredictable. To me, I think it's more predictable for them to stay the same tone. I think it's less predictable for them to switch up the tone at the end.
I actually don't agree. I think a lot of people would have been expecting, the happier ending in this film. And if you had kept it dark, I think it would have been a little bit more shocking. And it would have been like, oh, goddamn, they never changed the tone.
Isn't it always expected that they're going to do a happier ending? Isn't that primarily what is expected?
Yeah. So, I mean...
So anytime you do a happy ending, it's going to be predictable. Anytime.
Well, I guess if you look at it like that, but I mean, I guess it's a difference.
I guess it's a difference between anytime there's a happy ending done, people say, "Oh, that was fucking predictable." Anytime, it seriously, it irks me to death because it's like you have to have happy endings in order for the downbeat endings to not be predictable. Like, you have to have a balance there of some movies have to end happy, some movies have to end downbeat. Because if you had only downbeat, then happy would be unpredictable, right? Downbeat would be predictable.
Yeah, but we do have those different types of film.
Predictability is based on other movies you've seen, not based on the film that you're watching when it comes to happy or sad
So you can reword this. I think it would have worked better if they had just kept it with the same tone. Because it's so mean-spirited. It's so fucking mean-spirited. And it's shocking too because the kid is like 12, and he's killing another high school kid. And if it had just, ended with her actually fucking dying, I think that's just brutal. From myself, I think that's shocking and brutal. And like, wow, they never switched the tone. It never actually ended up being a little bit happier.
It would have 100% been like a more profound ending for sure. Because you'd walk away like, holy fuck, like I can't believe they went that far with this movie. But at the same time, I don't have issues with this ending. I would have liked it either way, honestly.
Yeah.
But I actually like this girl, and there's one scene in particular that made me okay with the way that it ended. And that's because I like her. And that's when they have her tied up, and he dares her to feel her boob.
Mm-hmm.
And like the expression on her face where she just feels like completely demoralized and it's just very like sad. And I'm like, I don't want to see that character get fucked over in the end and to me that means that the filmmaker did a good job.
I think that would have made it more, it makes it more effective though too, because if you're really feeling that character and you honestly do not want her to perish in the end, and she does, you're just like, God damn, dude, that's so brutal because I liked her.
Effective, but I'm just okay with it in this one. Like I just really truly am. Like I'm just like, I don't need it. It might have made me feel stronger. You're right. It might have made me feel stronger, but I don't think that it hurts the film at all. It could have made the film better, but I don't think it actually negatively impacts the film.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. Yeah, I don't think it hurts it either. I mean, it's just, it's everyone's different. Everyone wants different things out of the ending of films, and it makes complete sense that one person would want that ending and another person would want it to be darker and shit. I mean,
I just got so much unexpected brutality in this movie that it's like I can let the director get away with ending it the way that he wanted because he's like, it's like, oh, you gave me enough, bro. I don't need you to be.
It's a very it's a very calculated film, man. I think incorporating her boyfriend who she's kind of breaking up with, I think it's Ricky
and her ex-boyfriend.
Well, yeah, like the ex dude.
It's one boyfriend,
dude. When that guy's fucking
listen, hold up. Does the ex-boyfriend not remind you of a
American
real life version of Scumbag Steve? You know the meme Scumbag Steve?
Like, yeah.
Scumbag
reminded me
type
of
a guy that'll come to your house and you say, "Oh, no smoking in here, Steve," and he's like, "No, it's cool." Like he's that guy.
Reminds me of the guy from American Vandal, dude.
That dude's way cooler than
this guy. This guy makes me laugh. He's sitting in his car drinking a beer, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do this, and he's getting all fucking pumped up and shit.
This guy's the best.
It fucking cracked me up both times I watched this film, and it, like looking at the dude, you're just like, dude, take the fucking sticker off your damn hat, man. Come on. Fuck, he's got a $ hat. He's got a sticker.
I noticed that too. He has a fucking New Era hat, and he's wearing the fucking sticker.
I keep a sticker on my hat.
Jesus Christ, really? Fuck.
Yeah. So I remember my size.
But anyways, yeah, man. Like that guy
Sean
fucking
William
kind of
Scott
cracks me.
should play that character. It's totally a Sean William Scott type of character.
Dude, I thought
It
the
is.
casting was phenomenal for that guy. Like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? The scumbag Steve meme.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, he's literally that dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping that there was a commentary on the disc because I was going to listen to that while watching it today. And since I just seen this movie a few weeks ago, so I was like, okay, I'll listen to the commentary since like I already, can review the movie on its own. But there's no commentary.
I know.
Sad.
I was very disappointed. There's actually like no features on it. It comes with a special holiday Christmas card or something inside. But
And the slipcover is really cool looking too. I really like the slipcover, but yeah, very disappointed with the features on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, I think that this movie just is so fun. It's just like
it's so fresh and original.
It is.
Like,
it really is. It's a reverse Babysitter. I can't believe both of these movies came out this year. Have you seen Babysitter yet, Jeremy?
You know what, man? I can believe that because it seems like this happens a lot every year. Where I mean, look at the Belko Experiment and Mayhem. They're similar, but they're different. But they're on the same lines of each other. This seems to happen quite a few times every year where you get these films. But yeah, man. I mean, The Babysitter was fun. I mean, it was obviously a lot different in tone. It was more of a comedy.
Yeah, this one has comedic moments, but it's so much more dark. And honestly, dude, I think the
comedic moments in this film,
movie,
they're executed good too. Like they're definitely not over the top, and they're very far in between. Like with the one ex-boyfriend and him being a goof in the car. And I mean, that shit it was, it's not like over the top. It's more subtle. It's just the fact that he's
it's
getting
high
all
school
pumped
comedy.
up. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. It's fun though. It's good.
And I really like the casting, dude. I think that's the greatest strength of this movie. Luke, the way he is absolutely perfect because he's old enough to where you can see like, okay, he's mature, he's like smart for his age and stuff like that. But he's young enough to where his voice literally cracks throughout the entire movie.
Definitely has that.
It is so good.
Dude, when he's screaming his voice cracking, what the fuck, dude?
She's like, I felt like a little kid felt me up or something. I was like, yeah, girl.
I think Garrett even alludes to the fact that Luke doesn't even have pubic hair.
Yeah.
In the film at one point, which kind of makes sense. I mean, he's at that age where his body is changing. His voice is cracking and shit. But that actually made me laugh, though.
Like, he feels like a spoiled rich kid who always got his way, likes this girl.
Because he's an only child, Yeah. So he's like...
There's a nice little joke. There's a nice little joke too where when Ashley says, "Don't you have an alarm system in your house?" And he's like, "No, we never needed one before. It's a very safe neighborhood." I just love that. It's like that subtle comedy.
Which actually
kind of
was
funny.
the title to this movie at first, Safe Neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah. I think Better Watch Out is way better.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely better.
Yeah. I usually don't like when they change the title. I'm a fan of it in this.
What did you think of having Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen as the parents? It's pretty fucking interesting.
Dude, they were great. They like when
I love
when
Patrick Warburton, man.
She was like, "Are you sure you've never sucked a cock before? Like in college, experimentation, special friend." I was like,
"It's funny." He's like,
yeah.
"These are my metrosexual," and she's like, "That's not even a word. It's metrosexual."
Yeah, I thought they were great. The small little piece that they were in, I loved it. Like this movie, when I watched it, which I had a screener of it back when it was a digital screener. What?
Didn't you? Oh no, that was another movie. Wasn't that the one you told Adam Green you were watching?
Yeah. I had a digital screener of it, and I told Adam Green that I reviewed it, and the director was like, "Hey, thanks for not spoiling the movie and stuff." And he looked at me like I stole it, and I was like, "No, like in a real screener." And but I had the digital screener. The moment I hit play on it, dude, and like I saw those parents and like the setup and like the way the kids were talking, and like talking about what kids talk about at that age and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, I'm so down with this movie. And then I have it on Blu-ray now and as another screener, and watching it again on Blu-ray was like great as well. And I was worried, like this was a movie to me that I only need to ever watch one time, because I feel like
Saw, right?
I feel like with each viewing you could potentially lose the punch. Yeah, and like
It's like Saw.
Yeah, and I was happy to say that it didn't really do that, and I actually learned a little bit more about the movie. I learned a little bit why I like the characters so much, how I think they're all like very layered characters.
Well, because
like,
the rewatch allows you to watch it differently too, right?
Yeah.
You already know what's going on. You know, you don't have to be looking for things, but you're discovering things because you're watching the film a different way. Like you're noticing expressions, you're noticing, you know, even dialogue and things, and that's I noticed a lot of things like that too while watching this, and you know, it was pretty decent for a film that I agree, you know, one time watch can be sufficient enough, but it does, you know, I mean, it doesn't hurt it to watch it a second time, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you want to go into ratings?
Jeremy?
Sure. It's your 10 minutes.
Oh, is it mine?
Oh, I was about to say it.
That's right. It is my go. What did I rate this one like 2 weeks ago? Don't even fucking remember. I think I gave it 7.5 or 8 or something. I don't know. Yeah, man, this is a really good film. It's got a great Christmas feel to it. The acting's superb in this. Great twists and turns. Minor issues with the ending. You know, I mean, I agree it doesn't hurt the film. I would like to have seen it go a different way for my personal taste, because I like really downbeat shit. I think it's more effective for myself. Maybe it's selfish, but I don't give a fuck. That's just who I am. So with that said, man, you know, rewatching the film, I actually really enjoyed it again, and that says a lot about the movie in itself, because this is one of those films where you're like, the first time you watch it, the twist is like shocking. You're like, holy fuck, that's crazy. That's awesome. You know, I really wish that they had have shown a little bit more, maybe kind of gored it up a little bit with the paint can. I would have loved to have seen his face fucking smashed in. I think that would have just been like, holy shit. It doesn't matter that it's not
still
there.
Kind of satisfying to see that paint
kind of
mixed
movie,
with the
you
blood.
know?
It was like you can like the imagination kicks in. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's not that kind of movie, I think.
Well, it doesn't have to be fully that. I mean, it's just one scene, right? I mean, there's still nastiness. I mean, he fucking stabs her in the fucking neck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still fucking brutal. I mean, it's basically the same thing, just different. But I mean, it's a paint can in the face, dude. I mean, aren't you a little bit curious to see the after effects of that shit? I mean, considering that was the whole point of doing that Home Alone bit in the film, because they were arguing about what it was going to do to the guy's face, right? To see the carnage, I think would have been more of the payoff for myself, anyways. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film, man. I don't really have a lot of problems with it, but I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, so you came up a half point from your original rating, which was an 8.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to do the same thing. I think this is one of my favorite films of the year in terms of like a movie that not, you know, we do best and favorites, right? I think it's one of my favorites. Like I have so much fun while watching it, to where I actually wasn't dreading. Like, I'm not a rewatcher. I used to be. I'm like Jeremy. I don't like rewatching things. I just have too much shit to watch. You know, besides shit, I don't feel like rewatching stuff anymore. You know, and unless it's one of my favorite movies. And I actually was like, you know, very interested to check this one out again. It's only been a couple weeks later, and I was like, okay, like let's do it. And I love the characters still. I like all of them, like the boyfriends, the girl, the parents, both kids were extremely charismatic, extremely funny. The script to this film, I think, is great. Yeah, the ending probably would have been more impactful if it ended darkly. I agree with that. I will agree with that. It could have been a even stronger movie. I don't think it necessarily hurts that it doesn't have that. So if you're saying that it could have been, you know, from great to amazing, it doesn't necessarily go from great to good because of the ending. You know what I mean? So I think that I'm actually going to come in a half point higher. I'm coming in at 9 out of 10, baby. This is an awesome movie. I highly recommend people check it out. We spoiled the whole thing, so if you haven't seen it by now, sorry.
Now you have.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
Wow. Jeremy, 9 out of 10.
I'm tired of following Jeremy on Letterboxd because I always know his ratings now. I knew he was coming in at 9, but I will say that he actually lowered his rating on Rare Exports when we were talking about it from what he initially had.
7.5.
Nice. Which happens to me all the time. A lot of times I'll talk about a movie, and then after hearing everything vocalized, I'll be like, okay, I actually think that I feel more like this on the rating than I did before. But yeah, solid movie.
Well, that is going to conclude episode 126 here on
our last episode of the year.
Yes, that is going to conclude the 2017 year. Next show is going to be the top 10 of 2017, coming at you live in 3 weeks time, I think. Is it 3 weeks?
Live.
It'll be live.
Special Carpet Muncher guest.
Yeah, from the time they hear this, it'll be 1, 2, 3 weeks.
That's right. 3 weeks away. Top 10. Still got a bunch of movies to watch to complete my list. It's heating up a little bit, though. I'm fucking curious to hear everyone else's. I think I already know half of Jeremy's, though, because he always talks about it.
No, you should only know one.
Well, I think I know 2 that are going to be on your list. Oh no, fuck. No, man. I guess the one film is not even eligible for this year, is it?
Oh.
Shit, I forgot about that. Oh, well, one of them for sure. But
one of them for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, again, yes, we'll be back in a couple weeks. A much anticipated break that we need. This has been quite the streak, man.
15 weeks straight. Jeremy, you didn't make it with us the whole time.
14 was pretty good.
Yeah.
14 to 15 shows, not bad. It's actually
and I watched everything, so I did okay.
Yeah, you did watch everything.
Since I've come back, I've watched everything, movie, every Patreon movie, everything.
This has been an incredible year for the 22 shots, man. I mean, we've killed it, in my opinion. I think this is our best year we've ever done, which is pretty incredible for it being, our 4th year of doing this.
I think we owed it.
Still growing.
I think we owed it to the regular fans of the show, listeners, however you want to say it.
No, you owe it to me.
Well, I mean, it's just the fact that like we weren't slacking in the beginning of the year. We just had a big show to prep for. And
I mean, people were
didn't
starting
have any
to make
content.
jokes that like, that'll happen when 22 Shots releases their episode 100. Like, people were making jokes.
It became an ongoing
like something
joke,
a really long time from now. And it's like they would say like, oh, about the same time as 22 Shots comes out, and it's like the 22 Shots, are they still a podcast?
and we fucking we threw it right back in their faces though, because I mean, now the joke is, holy fuck, how do you guys pump out this content? It's like,
how do you pump out this content? Like, holy shit, you guys have been killing it.
I literally did Child's Play, Saw, Texas Chainsaw franchises on top of Italian Horror Month. And a whole bunch of other stupid shit, so it's kind of crazy. 2
other director's spotlights, like, I mean, dude, it's been crazy. It really has. And I mean, the only show that we took it easy on was the Skin Deep show. Yeah. We did 5 episodes in 1 month.
Mm-hmm. And big episodes. That was
last month. We did 4 episodes and a commentary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I think that it was such a great run, a run that will probably never be rivaled by any other podcast. I dare him to try it. Won't even be rivaled by us. Like, I can't see us going that hard again. That would be insane. Italian going from that crazy October straight into the crazy Italian Horror Month. That was a hike. And really, those are the only 2 months where we like can't miss episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, normally we can, if something comes up and like we have to find a way to not miss episodes in those months. And after this episode, we got it done, so it's actually done. We're actually free to not have a scheduled thing to where we can't miss for like the rest of the year. Starting in 2018 all the way up until like October again, because we don't really do, date specific shows besides October, November, and December.
Speaking of those months, man, we need to kind of figure out what we're going to be doing. I think we
have a completely open schedule right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But I got some ideas for some shows. I'm sure you guys do too. And
yeah, we'll see what happens.
And I'm sure the Patreon,
Yeah, the Patreon for January. We'll see what's there, and then we'll kind of work around that. But I do want you guys to get definitely do some research for films that you're excited about in 2018. I think we did a top 5 last year, like what our 5 most anticipated. So make sure you two do that. I will as well. Also, get watching on those 2017 films. We have a few more weeks of freedom. No Patreon reviews, no podcast episode schedule. We'll be able to watch what we want for a little while, wind down a little bit. It's going to be fun. And then we'll see you guys in 2018. It's going to be another epic year. I can't believe that we've been doing this so long. 126 episodes?
Yep.
126 today. Yep.
We're going to be at Witchcraft 200 sooner or later.
Yeah.
Witchcraft coming to episode 200.
We should probably figure out what we're doing for episode 150 pretty damn quick. Because if we have to do some prep for it, man.
I don't know. Do you want to do something special? I didn't really think we would do anything special again until 200. We might be able to come up with something.
Maybe we'll do maybe top 10 of the 50s for 150. I don't know. Something totally random.
I know we have a huge 76 show. I think we're looking at probably like March or April for that one.
I would like to get it done sooner than later, to be honest.
I would like to get 2 done in a year.
That's why I want to get it done, in the first maybe quarter of the year.
Yeah, if we get it in the first quarter, then we could do the second one like 6 months after that. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't, because the problem is we kind of bubbled into the 2017 prep with the last one or whatever. I forget when did we post the last one?
Damn, dude, I have no idea.
I think it was like in March or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a while. Too long. We need to get this one done.
It kind of episode 100 got in the way and stuff like that, but we should be a little bit more. It's up to Exploding Heads too. Hopefully those guys can let us know what they want to do. I would hate to kind of go away from those shows because people love them so much when they're on.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like if they don't feel committed to be able to do that, we might have to do it solo or whatever. But we'll see. We'll talk to those guys and see what's going on.
We'll figure it out.
It could be an epic show. We've never had all 6 of us on the same show.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Because fuck other people.
You've been doing better.
I can't wait for Carly to be on the show because Jeremy, I think he's generally very quiet around girls. He's probably not going to say an entire thing.
Jeremy, are you going to let Carly outshine you with the amount of movies she watched?
I don't give a shit.
You should give a shit. You need to represent this goddamn show, bro.
What is that?
She just hit 50.
Well, sorry, if I didn't have to watch 9 violent shit films, I could have watched some more 2017.
Oh, here we go with the fucking crying about the Patreon again, man. Jesus.
Oh, it was rough.
Well, you got 3 weeks to go, buddy.
I've watched like 35. That's pretty good for me.
You can definitely catch up.
Yeah.
I'm at like 55.
I'm in the low 90s, so.
You're stupid, though.
But I also started like in January. Like I had a pace throughout the year. It's not like
this is the best pace I did. Actually, I've watched 246 total movies this year, which, by the way, my previous record, 205, I think.
I couldn't even imagine how many I've watched. It's ridiculous.
Or one night. Yeah, I think it was 205. I can't even remember what my I can't remember. 150? No, what was it? I gotta look that up. Hold up. I can't let the listeners hang in. Just give me 1 second. Because I actually really want to know now. But yeah, dude, why don't you start keeping a letterbox? You'll be able to see. Why are you not on Letterboxd, Moodz?
Maybe I'll start one up for 2018.
That's what I plan on doing. I plan on using it like kind of exclusively for 2018 to kind of figure out, to keep track. It's so much easier. It's a nice system. It's really easy and user friendly to use as well. So I think you should definitely hit that up. Oh, another question I had for you. Did you know you left like the conversation at the end of the show?
Yes, I did it purposely. Yes, I did it purposely.
Oh, okay. Why?
I don't know. Extra content.
I
mean, I liked
cutting
it.
shit out.
I liked it. It was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it also ended with us saying, let's get out of here. Peace. Right? So it was like, whatever. It worked.
Oh, apparently I had 251 last year. Why am I only at 228? I thought it was higher than that. Oh, wait, I'm a couple pages back. Duh. Yeah, I'm at 322. So 251 was my record last year. I'm at 322 now. So absolutely crushed my record.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of movies, dude. I'm almost pacing 7 a week. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, fuck, man. We have to watch at least 6 a week just for the show. So if you're watching anything on top of that, I mean, it's just like adds up.
Yeah.
Redonkulous.
Yeah, that's I did mention that, in the early part of the year next year, I would like to maybe do some more list specific shows or like single or duo films to where we're not watching 3 featured reviews plus every week, kind of space it out a little bit. Maybe get in some more What We Watch shows. It's been over a year since we've done a What We Watch show. Over a year.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that again. Those are my favorite shows.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing another one. It's okay. They're fun.
All right.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Jeremy, take us out.
I had to take us out last week and I fucked it up, man. Thanks.
Yeah, of course, because I'm a pro. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 126 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. So, if you want to follow the man, Moodz, the editor himself, please do so at youtube.com/Moodz616 and tell him he should have left in some cell phone conversation. As always, if you could follow the Insidious man himself, JP, youtube.com/DoubleShotJ, and tell him to check out Insidious 4. And as always, you can follow me on my channel, youtube.com/NESRuler22. But you won't find any new videos. And as always, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. And as always, you can leave us an email. Please send us your top 10 list at the 22 shots of Moodz and Horror at gmail.com. It's 22 shots of Moodz A&D Horror at gmail.com. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at 22 shots podcast. And please join the Facebook page, facebook.com search bar 22 shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. And as always, please support the Patreon to get the sand sucked out of my vagina. Patreon.com/22 shots podcast. And that shall do it for episode 126 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. We'll be back in 3 weeks on January 10th with January 10th with episode 127 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. We'll be doing our year-end show with the Carbon Muncher herself. And that shall do it. So that should be it. Thank you, everybody.
Also, whoever won the Patreon, I forgot to mention, hit me up on Facebook for your address or send us an email. Sorry about that.
Later.
Peace.
Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Merry motherfucking Christmas. Have a fucked up New Year. You boo.
And they all went to prison and lived fucked up lives ever after. The end.